Welcome, everybody, to the Breachers VRML Season 3 EU pre-show. My name is Nightfire with two E's. I am the sole conductor into today's journey for at least the start of the EU Season 3 Top 8 Single Elimination Bracket Tournament. If you are just tuning in and unaware of how today works or how this weekend has worked, we've essentially played 13 weeks of regular season gameplay to get to this point. Teams have battled against each other, getting matched against each other over the course of those 13 weeks, and it has been an all-out brawl for these squads to qualify into what is the closed qualifier. The top 7 teams automatically making their way into this tournament, and all 4 of the teams that we're going to be watching today have automatically qualified. If you remember yesterday, we had the Challenger Cup winner, which happened last weekend, go up against our number 1 seed and not have too good of a showing, ultimately going up against a much tougher opponent than they were facing in the Challenger Cup. We now have a sort of, I would argue, similar situation with our starting game with Berserk and Niffen, ranked seed number 2 and number 7, respectively. But it's, we'll have to see. I don't really have a lot of experience, to be honest, watching the EU side. You know, I recognize Jacobs, I recognize the names on Berserk, and I recognize some names on Niffen. I don't know if maybe I've cast a handful of Niffen games. But seeding-wise, I think a lot of folks are going to be leaning into Berserk, obviously taking this initial elimination round, right? And again, we are into the top 8 single elimination bracket. So this is the second group stage. So we have ranks 2 versus 7, which is Berserk and Niffen, battling it up against each other first this afternoon. And then we have ranks 3 versus 6, Sunset Ravens versus Cheeky Breaky. And I can't believe it, but we did put Cheeky Breaky's logo on the top, the Season 3 EU shirt that we just went live with yesterday. If you want to pick that up, you can buy that right now. It's got the Breachers Discord logo on the center, and then it's got all the teams' logos on the back with the sponsors' logos on the shoulder. I think it's a pretty cool design. I'm pretty happy with it, and ultimately picking up one of those shirts supports the VRML. But outside of the logo, I think this is going to be our closest series, maybe of the weekend, with Sunset Ravens and Cheeky Breaky being real close in that overall ranking, rank 3 versus rank 6. And, of course, that's that. I don't know. I have to go look at the match history without my co-host. It's hard to drag all that up, but I do imagine that there is. Let's actually see if we have it on our. No, maybe not even a previous encounter, but I am looking forward to this series, which will be our second one of the afternoon. And then, of course, after EU finishes, we'll be jumping into the North American second half of the top 8 single elimination bracket, and that'll start at 1:30 p.m. PST. So we've got a lot of Breachers action ahead of us, and I have some exclusive interviews to debut for our first series of the afternoon. We jumped in and chatted with all of these squads, me and Gibular Bob, and got a little perspective on how they're feeling, how they're preparing, what they're nervous about, how they're reflecting on their season, and it's a nice insight into how these teams are thinking when they are in that high chaotic battlefield with $1,000 prize pool on the line. First place comes away with $1,000, which is a great chunk of change for the EU side, all thanks to our sponsors. We'll quickly shout out now Triangle Factory, the developer of the game, supporting the VRML with cash into the cash prize pool. A fantastic developer, can't support them enough. ProTube VR and HyperX, all also supporting the VRML. We appreciate our sponsors' support. It drives the VRML, and what also drives the VRML is your support by picking up merch and subscribing and hitting the thumbs up button on the stream. We really do appreciate all the support that we have been seeing, especially on the content side lately. It's tremendous. So we really do thank everyone for tuning in. But I am going to cut to the exclusive interviews, and when we come back, it'll be map number 1 of this best of 3 series between Berserk and Niffen. We'll dive into the stats then. Don't go anywhere. More Breachers EU top 8 single elimination bracket coming up.
Angle on the corner, and they catch Grandma. They catch a second and a third.
They'll catch the Sander. They'll catch Adam. They'll catch.
And does. Ken's ready to catch his grandma for the 2.
Welcome everybody to the VRML Season 3 Breachers Top 8 EU interviews. My name's Nightfire with 2 E's. I am here with the Berserk squad number 2 in the EU region after this season. We'll go left from right. Starting with you, Jacob. How are you feeling? Or no, not Jacob. Who is that on the left? Sorry. Well, let me do that over again. Starting from left to right, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourselves, and we'll go from there.
My name's Dev Center, and I just play a lot of Breachers, and yeah.
My name's Jacobs, and I'm the co-cap of Berserk.
My name's Sergeant. I like Breaches.
Hi, my name is Bewares, and I like to play Breaches.
I'm Mad. I also like to play Breaches.
I'm Nasty. I'm just like the entry frag. I'm the captain. That's it.
I'm Jakub. I IGL, and that's basically all I do.
Awesome. Well, I'll start with you, Nasty. You know, how does it feel to be out of the Challenger Cup? You know, you don't have to play in that Challenger Cup this this upcoming weekend. How does that feel?
It's good because last time I did it, I had to stay on for like 3 hours just to lose it anyway.
Yeah.
So it feels good.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not missing that slog. Mad, you know, how does it feel? Is this sort of where you expected to finish this season? Did you think you would in the top 8, let alone second in the region?
Yeah, definitely. I was confident in it.
We'll go with the IGL. Big Coobs, you know, what was your best moment this season? What was like the match, the moment, the play that sticks with you the most?
I think definitely our wins against like SR, Zin, because we were outvoted. A lot of people thought we were just going to lose those matches, and then we ended up winning. So I think that was quite good for our team. And yeah, I think that was some of our best moments.
You ever let those, those rankings, those community votes affect you? Or do you try not to look at those before you get into a game?
I never really care. Like I occasionally vote, but not too much. And I actually like to look at them when it's our team just to see who believes in us and who doesn't. But yeah.
Find out who the loyal fans are and who aren't. I like it.
Yeah.
Nasty, this one's maybe a little bit harder than the best moment, but what was maybe the hardest moment? Was there like a matchup that really sticks with you that was like a really tough map, tough series?
When we went against Acer, I pretty much only had one moment, and it was my ace. But then I went 2-11 in front of everyone, so it wasn't very good.
Acer will do that to a player sometimes, I think. I think you're okay for having that happen. Back to the IGL, Jakub, you know, how are you preparing for the close qualifiers? What sort of stuff are you doing? What's your schedule like leading up to it?
I mean, I think a lot of the time we're just trying to play as much as we can and just practice as a team. Like, there isn't too much we need to focus on, like, specifically, so we're just trying to improve in general and just, yeah, get as much practice as we can.
Nat, are you thinking at all about the prizing down the line? You know, that first place reward, the skins, you know, like, is that anything on the mind right now, or are you just kind of focused on the games?
Focusing on games, honestly. I've not really put much thought into the winnings of just pressure if you think about it, or what's on the line. So it's best to just concentrate.
Okay. Go down the list. I'll kind of let you guys do shout outs. I don't have any more questions than this, but we'll start with Jakub. You know, anything you want to say to the folks at home, the community, before you get into your top 8 match?
Shout out to Mr. Ducks. He's the best.
Awesome. Nasty?
Shout out to Mr. Ducks, because he's our biggest fan. That's it.
You mad?
To Accurate, Goat Boy, and Petrol from Team Nexus Day Ones.
Where's?
Shout out to Alkin. He's not here today, but shout out to Alkin.
Hear it, Sergeant?
Shout out to Mr. Ducks. Shout out to Mr. Ducks.
Jacobs.
Shout out to Happy, the #1 ranked duo.
Great, and the #1 Berserk player.
I shout out to Stick from Acer, very close friend, and I've played with him a long time.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to chat with me this afternoon. I'm looking forward to casting your matches. The best of luck to you all in the playing field in this Season 3 group stage. But that's it for us here today. We'll have more, maybe from this team, if they get to the top 4. Until then, classy.
Snoopy looking to push out and finds 2. Player has any idea. And Akira is now very, very low. And Snoopy! Oh no, they just barely. Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, and today I'm with Asoria from Nippon, currently the #7 team in the European standings. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your role in the team?
So I'm Asoria. I'm the captain of Nifin EU.
Now, let's get right into the questions here. First off, how does it feel to skip that Challenger Cup? That's a long day of playing. How does it feel to skip it?
It's a very good feeling about skipping the Challenger Cup because last season we lost our place, from the playoff, and we lost in the Challenger Cup. So yeah, it's a good feeling for us.
Yeah, definitely. Don't have to participate in what is a very, very long day. Now, did you expect to be #7 when you started the season? Did you think you were going to be higher or lower?
Honestly, I don't know because I know that we have the capacity to be in the playoff, but for the place, I don't really care about that because if we want to be the first team in the EU, we need to win all teams. So I don't care.
Okay. Now, did you have a moment that stood out to you as one of the best of the season?
Yeah, of course. So the last season we lost our place against F3 EU, and we do a rematch this season, and we take our revenge. So I think this is our best moment in the season.
Yeah, definitely settling the score there with them. Well, you'll get another shot at the F3 in the postseason. So, best of luck there. Now, did a moment stand out as maybe one of the worst of the season?
Yeah, I think we in a match VRML against Breaky, we lost our match, but it was very close, and we lost because we have done some mistake, and we have just work on it, and let's do it.
There you go. Now, in terms of the upcoming closed qualifiers, a little bit more on that note, how are you preparing for it? Any extra scrims or anything in the works?
We have just do some scrim. It was a Christmas holiday for all people, I think, and it was little hard to do some more scrims than before, but we tried.
All right, definitely. And if you won the prize money, do you have anything you'd spend it on?
I think we can buy investment for the team or something.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And probably a jersey.
Oh, nice. Yeah, definitely. That would be fun. Have matching jerseys.
Yeah.
And we do, of course, want to thank Asoria and Nippon for giving us the opportunity to interview them today. We wish you best of luck in the upcoming EU postseason. Until next time, I'm Gibular Bob. We'll catch you all in the next interview. Have a fantastic rest of your night, everybody.
Welcome, everybody, to the Breachers EU Season 3 Top 8 Single Elimination Tournament. I appreciate you all hanging out, tuning in, and stopping by for what is going to be some of the best Breachers that you can watch on the EU hemisphere this afternoon. It's Berserk and Niffin to start us off, and let's dive in to what this series is going to hold for us today, because it is, obviously, the number 2 seed, sitting high with a strong record, 11-2 against Niffin. I think the number 7 seed, sitting 6-6 on their regular season record. And now Berserk, obviously, a tremendous win rate. Very few losses over the course of what is, again, 13 weeks of regular season gameplay. And Niffin, comparatively, doing really well on some maps. Arctic played less. Hideout played less. Interestingly enough, Arctic and Hideout were the most played maps for the two teams in NA yesterday, for I think all 4 teams in NA yesterday, which I find interesting here to see Niffin not prioritizing it, instead going for obviously Factory, Dam, and Ship being their main staples of the regular season. I imagine we'll be seeing one of those maps this afternoon coming in from Niffin, which is good because Dam has been exciting. We've seen that already debuted yesterday at the in the EU matchups. As we'll pull up some clips here. That's actually from NA. Apologies. You don't need to see those. Well, you're seeing them anyway. But we had some great series all across the board yesterday, and there's some incredible highlights, which I anticipate to be, again, what will be in store for us today. Niffin and Berserk going to come out the gate competing for what is $1,000 in cash for first place. The winner here advances on to the semifinals. They'll be challenging the winner of our next matchup, which is Cheeky Breachy versus Sunset Ravens. And so then we'll have the semifinal series debuting next weekend. That'll be Saturday, and then Sunday will be the grand finals, where we will crown that first place and second place and third place team, locking them in as the champions of Season 3. They've already all earned that sweet, sweet Season 3 finalist skin, which we've been talking about over the course of the regular season. It's what these teams compete for in a lot of cases during that regular season. The postseason is more of and I think for a lot of folks, just something fun to do. They're happy they've got their skin, and obviously committed to playing the game competitively. And so you really do get, again, the best of the best duking it out against each other this afternoon. And Berserk and Niffin are no slouches to this game. This should be... I think if we were to put up a vote, a lot of folks would lean into Berserk this afternoon, and I wouldn't disagree with that, purely based on the statistics. Again, you look at their win-loss ratio, and it is strong. Even maybe a gap in coverage on Dam there, coming in as Berserk's maybe worst map and Niffin's second most played map. But Factory is going to be a hard-fought map if Niffin do want to challenge Berserk on that. And Arctic, not even on Berserk's top 5, so I do wonder how much time and effort Berserk's put into Arctic, because maybe Niffin will want to go there for something fresh. I've given the ready up for both squads, and we are nearly full in lobby, so we should be starting any moment now. But I do appreciate everyone, again, hanging out, tuning in, and stopping by. We've seen a lot of growth in the channel and a lot of growth in the community, and that's all thanks to all the new folks jumping into VR, but obviously the great community that we do have, the welcoming space that is the VRML in Breachers, and it's thanks to a great community like you guys. So a shout out to you from me, as I do, again, appreciate you all patiently waiting for us to get into our first map of the day. I know I'm certainly excited to be diving into another session for EU, because yesterday delivered across the board. You can see the replays here to my left. I don't know what side that is for you, but you're right. Chaotic, Acer EU duking it out, and Acer EU dominated through that space. They'll be going up against Nexus, who fought hard against Formula 3 EU. and came out on top, and 2 maps no less. Yesterday across the board, we had a 2-map series. I don't know if that's just because momentum in the postseason is so much stronger than it is in the regular season. It's interesting. I'm curious if we're going to see any 3-map BO3s this afternoon. But now we have replays from the Formula 3 EU Nexus map, and that one was extremely close. Map 1 came down to a 6-6 tiebreaker. The scoreline says 5-7, but just because that's how we have to do it with our scoreboard. But it was a 6-6 tiebreaker, Map 1. So that was a heck of a way to start yesterday. And if Niffen and Berserk are going to live up to that and pull off another 6-6 Map 1 tiebreaker here for us today, I'll certainly be happy, but not exactly what I am expecting. I've stalled long enough, though. I appreciate you all waiting, because now it's time for us to finally get into the action. The teams are ready. They are in lobby. We've got everyone on both squads ready to dive into Factory for our opening map of the afternoon. And a center floor objective for our pistol round opener. For those tuning in that don't know the game of Berserk, it is a 5 versus 5 search and destroy style video game, a lot like your standard 2D Rainbow Six style game, where you breach in, break walls, and enter into the objective to plant, or essentially actually defuse the bomb in the case of the attacking's team, Niffen. Or excuse me, Berserk swaps teams there. But arguably, the one significant difference is that everyone playing today is doing it in VR. They're aiming the guns in real life with their hands. In a lot of cases, they are leaning, crouching, throwing these grenades in real life. As a nice nade bounces to the back corner there and catches Altus. Senpai swings up the distraction on the stairwell, catches both Jacobs and Nasty on some big HP. That scoops up Asoria, and for now, the on-site defense is only down to the 2, but they do have Senpai up top, waiting to make the move and push forward. So many low HP attackers, too. It's nearly the entirety of Berserk that have just slivers of health on this top floor. Bit of a hold now as Berserk reassess. No health syringes to heal up at all, so everyone just a few bullets away from going down, but everyone on Niffen full HP ready to defend. Foam's going to go down on that wall from Mad. The breach at A is still very much the play. They are not going to be swinging to a B-site plant. Nice pick up there. Upless trying to fend off Mad and Nasty, but they made their way inside the site. EMP goes up. Does it go up against the wall? No, I don't think they planted it yet. Mad swings out. Catches good damage onto Upless. Upless cannot push out through that doorway because it's being covered. And a great job, a swing free from Noctilus as they try and pick up the double kill. Jacobs and Mad, just a slice of HP. This is an easy potential 1-2 punch. There's the first, but the EMP's planted now. And Jacobs is trying to drop back, get up to the top floor. Noctilus goes for the defuse. Time is running out as Jacobs gets to that outside wall. Tries to find the angle. Noctilus getting small ticks at a time and trying to bait Jacobs out. And like we say at the high level, there's no pros. There's no faking on the pros. You just got to commit to it. And Noctilus is committing to it. Oh no, there it is, the timing. Ticking down. They're trying to stick the last tick, and they get it. No, they don't. Jacobs shuts them down. So much time for Noctilus to just sit there and go for it. When they started, when they went to go for the, that was the right play to go for the defuse. Man, Bob's rule is really shining in the postseason today, and Bob's rule is that you do not fake a defuse in the pros. When you're in the top 8, if you're going to go for a defuse, it's stick it or not do it at all. And that's the story of this weekend, quite frankly. We could have seen probably a couple of defuses if the players that win for it had just committed to going for all 3 of the ticks they need on the EMP to defuse it. When a player goes up to defuse the EMP, they're essentially trying to match wavelengths on the EMP. And they have to do that 3 different times to 3 different wavelengths by turning the knob to match it. And so if you're shaky, if your hand is shaky, you can kind of bounce around the wavelength you're looking for and ultimately never touch it. So you really have to kind of like focus and commit to going for those scanner interrupts sometimes when under pressure. Maybe it's one of the hardest things to do. Either way, Berserk are up into a nice clean lead, and we do see a Vezin and Omen invested onto the side of Berserk, and I gotta wonder if that's enough to counter a full Omen and Viper squad that is Niffin right now on defense. With the meta changes that have come in literally between the end of season and postseason, we're seeing a very different sort of decision-making process in terms of how you can invest. Some great audio coming in from the Charms there. Mad taking a little bit of damage through the wall, but foam does go down. And A site is breached. Nice nade toss to the back line there. Uplis has to tuck in, but they do. And both Noctilus and Uplis trying to suppress their way. Everyone peeking in and out. Nasty is on the back line, though. A threat with that Vezin. As the EMP does now go down, Mad's going to scoop and put it down. Nasty's holding from that long angle. Devzander catches one with the SMG. Down goes Dev, though, as the swing comes in from Noctilus on site now. EMP getting pushed. Nasty tucks back with that Vezin. As shots come in from Mad over the top to connect on the Noctilus and put them down. Both Altus and Asoria now trying to push up, but no success as Nasty says, I'm going to push up. And Altus says, I'm going to find a double. Looks for 2 more as they chip down the HP bars. Vezin's down on the corner. Jacob's still at the doorway, and they'll peek out to shut down what would have been a disaster. Berserk just squeak away with that one. And we'll take a look at the scoreboard. You can see kills coming across the board, obviously, both rounds. It does mean economies are in a relatively similar state, although obviously Berserk, well, not similar, actually, really, because Niffin invested in Omens that round across the board, or SMGs across the board, and lost all of them. But they did get 3 kills. The Vezin gets carried through for Berserk, though, so their investment very much worthwhile. I think they even carry the Omen that they put in, too, so the 2 rifles they picked up make it to the next round. And in terms of economy, if they lose here, they're not in a great spot. They won't have a ton to invest into that next round. It'll be a nice opportunity for Niffin to swing. But Niffin are going to have to clutch up their SMG round here, going up against what is arguably a full bot Berserk squad with all the utility and drones they could ask for. Ooh. And Asoria catches Alkin peeking up over the top. He comes in, almost catches Asoria there as they do hold tight. Down onto the site. Uplis holding up to that center. We've seen this position from Uplis be vital in maintaining control of B. So if they don't get rid of Upless here, it might become very difficult for them to work their way in. 4 still left alive, and we're into a 4v4. Yeah, and you cannot take the long fights. Nasty swings on the short corner, and if Asoria had just challenged, maybe could have found a double kill, but Nasty's going to barrel through, catch the multi, and the round for the team. And that's a confident play right there coming in from Nasty, and why wouldn't it be? Look at their KD, 9-2 in 3 rounds. Hunting down Altis at the end there to find that last kill to make it a triple. And again, a shout out to everyone tuning in, hanging out, and enjoying the action. Hopefully you're having a good time listening to just me cover the gameplay today. There might be some pauses, some silences. That's me preserving the voice for what could be a long afternoon. This is only one of 4 best of 3s I'll be a part of today. Obviously, we have another EU matchup after this, which I think is going to be potentially even closer than this one. Cheeky Breaky and Sunset Ravens. And then, a couple of hours later, about 1:30 p.m. PST, 4:30 Eastern, we dive into the North American Top 8 Group B. I think Nasty had a little spike there. But they pop in and are still connected with their Vezin. Ball's open, and look at this, Altis and Upless getting right up into the face. Jacob team fires Devzinder somehow. Altis capitalizing with the Vezins in hand now, catching some kills. Rifles are into the hands of Niffin, and they are feeling confident. They're ready to swing. Noctilus pops out for 1. There's more, and Altis, the absolute swarm from Niffin to finally catch a point on the board. A great play of confidence from them with rifles in hand. And they're going to take a lot of health syringes with them. They might have 5 syringes across the board there. I think they can buy 2 more with the 3 that they have. Could be wrong. No, they just spread out the 3. Okay, makes sense. Regardless, a fully kitted Niffin squad is bouncing back nicely here off of that full buy round that they could finally get to. I think because they got those kills as well with the SMGs when they invested into the SMGs, that they were able to then go for this full buy here. I don't know if they would have had enough to do that. And even now, you look at where they're at on the economy, even after a round win, they're actually not able to supplement the losses that they had last round. And so you do have 2 Vezins still in play, the 2 survivors of last round, but it's Shotgun and two Vipers compared to a fully kitted Berserk squad pushing in here again with all the utility and all the rifles that they need. It can be a very tough round again for Niffin, but they did a great job bouncing back last time, so we'll see how it goes once the push comes through. Second to last round of the half, then we swap sides, reset economies, and Niffin get their chance at attack. Devzinder sitting outside, waiting to push in on the duo here. I kind of wonder if maybe they're going to try and plan to push out towards Devs. As that Immolation nade comes in, forces Asoria into the corner. Nice little bit of utility play here from Devzinder to try and zone out anyone that's defending from that corner, but they weren't ready for Asoria, who was tucked in on the other side of the Immolation. Finds the kill, swings out to defend the EMP, and runs into the entirety of the team. Jacobs flops out on the outside to catch Shenpai, getting a little bit greedy, trying to grab the Vezin. Not much of a fight on site until Alkin drops down. Altus rotated over to B, expecting a rotation to come in from the Berserk squad, but there is definitely not one. They are focused here on getting the EMP plant down as Alkin and Jacobs barrel through, and Alkin finds the multi-kill. Even the pre-fire does not stop Alkin from sprinting that corner. Take a quick look at the KDs. As we do see Nasty stepping up with 11 kills there. Why am I not seeing... see Mad Dev, Altus. Interesting, maybe we're having an issue tracking. Did they sub in Alkin? No, Altus is coming in on Berserk's side for some reason. We'll see if we can sort that out on the scoreboard, but 4-3 for Alkin there. Another look at that replay. A confident push, to say the least, as they just barrel through here, catching 2 from Niffen. A bit of flash work here. The push comes in. The shotties are right up into the face, and we're right into the action here on the outside of B. Berserk get countered with a very aggressive risk-it-all sort of setup, and through the window, Alkin's able to catch Upless. And a nice swing from Jacobs puts things back into a 3-2 advantage for Berserk. Noctilus sitting pretty far back, catches one. Alkin's going to continue to get confident on this rap and push forward for another kill. Berserk are in a good way right now, up 5-1 on map 1. And I kind of got to remind myself here. Berserk are the higher seed team. Coming in with a little bit better of a win record. I couldn't remember if it was Niffen or Berserk that was seeded second. Niffen seeded 7th. I think we're seeing a little bit of that disparity. In effect, at least on this map. I wonder when we go to Dam, which I imagine is where Niffen are going to take it for map 2, how that will go. But right now, as we swap sides, Berserk go on a defense and Niffen attack, and so maybe the side swap will be what the Niffen squad need, but I think a 5-point offensive half on Factory for Berserk sets them up pretty nicely to very likely take this first map of the afternoon. Drone work, a little foam work. Niffen getting ready to breach from the bottom floor up. I wonder if they pop that hatch. Is that something you can do? From the bottom floor and then have somebody drop down through it if they're standing on the hatch on defense? Yeah. And it is! Look at that! What a play! They don't catch the kill on Devs, though, but they do drop them down, and now Devs ready to fight. Upless swings down and catches the kill. I called it, but I've never seen it. That was crazy. Dang it, I didn't get the replay on the foam catching him drop down. That was awesome. As Altus and Noctilus and Niffen execute on a beautiful push up, but Upless gets trapped on the immolation. The static emitter also impacting their swing up, and finally they can get up to A. As the duo tucks into server room, they're going to go for the retake. They're going to allow the EMP plant. As now Jacobs and Alkin do swing up. A nice kill there, popping out from the side. And Altis swings on the short corner, and what great teamwork from Niffin. Beautiful offensive entry. I can't believe the foam play, didn't work, technically. It did relocate a defender, so maybe it did do what they wanted to do. Oh, that was so cool. I've never seen that I don't think I've ever seen that in game and around. I really don't. Let's go find it. That was in the server room back here in the back of B. And yeah, when have I ever seen this used to attack this? Why doesn't anybody foam second floor and come in? I feel like I almost never see that. Wouldn't this work well against what was the earlier defense on the setup inside B here? What do I know? I'm just an observer that did catch that awesome play regardless. The foam from the bottom floor to push them down. Into round number 8 we go, and Niffin, with a great pistol round, have set themselves up for a little bit of an advantage round. Berserk are going full eco into round 8, so they're going to be going on a big buy round 3, and if they're successful, round 4 to victory. That is their play. They're kind of essentially maybe even allowing this round to come through as a win for Niffin. Ooh, and Alkin does get one. Looks for more, but Senpai's there and ready to defend. Nades come down, but don't catch anyone out. Interesting smoke tossed there as more utility does come flying around the corner. Noctilus and team barrel in. Senpai holding down the advance from Mad and Jacobs, as now Jacobs is alone in a 1v4 with everyone holding rifles or SMGs. And a very clean second point on offense for Niffin. Now, Niffin has to be careful because Berserk have lulled them into maybe like a false sense of security somewhat. And I am very curious to see now as the full buy comes in for Berserk if Niffin are going to be ready for that. I'm looking at chat on how you guys reacted to the foam on the bottom floor, on the underside. Love to see it. Oh, and a new subscriber to the channel. I don't know why Streamlabs is shouting that out now. I don't think I've ever seen it do that. We've had a ton of new subscribers coming in, but hey, welcome in. We do appreciate all the new subs. Please do hit that sub button if you want to attend more Breachers VRML action. We obviously have more of it this weekend and next weekend in the immediate future. We got more of it later today. 1:30 p.m. PST NA starts with the post-season pre-show. And we then dive into 2 more best of 3s on North America. And a reminder, we also have 1 more best of 3 after this for EU. So there's a lot of Breachers ahead of us today. Already we're seeing plays I've never seen. So pretty good. Niffin. Like I said, maybe that 1 defensive point was what they needed, but full buy round for Berserk is going to be big for them. Dev committing into the entirety of Niffin, ready and waiting for them. Atlas catches a nice nade onto the backside, and the smoke comes through, allowing for the EMP plant and a nice safe advance from this team. Altis does go down. Mad catches one with the Cadillo. Euclid's going to swing up and pick them off, and it does leave Nasty, who has been a kill leader so far today, alone in a 1v3, waiting for the retake, waiting for the right moment to push up. Has to do a lot here, though. And Asoria is crouched on the inner corner. Uplis very much aware of this rotation and aware now of Nasty's position. An Oral in hand also is, while certainly good, not ideal. Oh, and I like this eco from Nasty. They take 2 trip mines that were planted already defending the other site, a site that never got detonated. They grab those and retreat. And it's because they need to. Niffen is dominating on the economy right now. Berserk invested big into that round. They ecoed the round before entirely without investing into any omens or SMGs, when the SMGs with kills get you more cash. And instead went for that full buy rifle round there. Now, off of consecutive loss bonuses, they are able to buy again relatively well into this round. But not as confidently or comfortably as Niffen is. So Niffen have all the utility health syringes, rifles they could want, and are quite frankly in a position to maybe even take this map right now with how much they are dominating on the economy space on their offensive half. It is a wonderful round from half map one from them so far. And I'm surprised on the comeback. Not exactly what I think we were anticipating when we did jump into this half, but let's look at the KDs. And you can see, while Nasty is still very much carrying a lot of the kill load there on Berserk, 13 and 6. Niffen is crawling up with 2 players at 8 kills apiece, both Noctilus and Senpai, and Altis right behind with 7. So they are battling hard here this afternoon, and maybe we are going to go to another 6-6 map 1 tiebreaker to open up the EU half today. And we do get ready to dive into round 10 here, as both Senpai and Nasty are just a wall away. I think Senpai waiting for Nasty to make this move based off of that door break. As they hold the nade in their hands, they're super vulnerable to Senpai peeking out through this window. And now they have their back completely to Senpai, but Senpai still hasn't broken through the window. It's a prime opportunity, and now as they swing, Nasty catches a kill, turns around and looks for Senpai, but Senpai's there to catch the refrag. Asoria finds Dev Zender on the bottom floor. Berserker down to 3. Niffen continue to look good on the attack. Static emitter slowing Uplis down just a touch. Berserk have essentially dropped off of sight. I think they're going to allow A to be taken. As Jacobs rotates, they have Alkin on the back end, rotating slowly but surely down the stairs and getting caught out entirely by Senpai. As Noctilus does get scooped up by Jacobs, Mad catches a nice nade kill, turns it into a 2v1 for Jacobs with the Viper in hand. EMP still not planted, time ticking down. Asoria gonna go for it. Has the coverage through the server room, and Senpai finds the kill, 12 and 7. As they tie things up for Niffen, 5-5 off a tough defensive half where they lost 5 rounds and 1-1. Niffen has now tied the scoreline back up. And if Berserk can replicate a 5-1 success like Niffen did, or at least get 1 round on the board here, we could really be headed to the 6-6, but it is kind of do or die right now. Berserk are full buying in. I think if they lose here, they'll still have enough on the consecutive loss bonus to full buy again. So for the next 2 rounds, I think Berserk are in good shape. If they win and have only a few left alive, that's when things are going to get tough for them, because Niffen have a lot of a cushion. They have a lot of safety net with all of the cash they have across their team. And so it's very interesting, and well, we'll see. It is another close opening map 1, and I'm happy that we're tuning in to it. We might be joined by Gibular Bob here once we dive into map number 2, which I'll be happy to have back on the casting desk, because I'm sure you fine folks will at home as well. But we're almost done here with map 1, and then we'll rope them in as Berserk just try and lock in a map 1W and what was really feeling like a opportunity for them to maybe even take some map 1-7-2. I was thinking Berserk, obviously the higher seed, gonna kind of run away with this now. But here comes Niffin saying, hey, we're ranked 7 for the reason. We went 6-6. We battled against these teams at a high level. We can compete. Alkin says try. Swings out, catches the kill. Senpai is going to vault out next. Alkin's going to swing for more and cannot find it. Great teamwork from the duo to catch the frag out. Nades and Jacobs catching shots through the wall. Really nice angles there from them as Nasty and Mad both do nasty and mad work. Noctilus alone, just like that on Niffin. And Berserk are looking to take the lead again as Mad finishes things off with an SMG in hand. And that's a big comeback round for Berserk. Right when they needed it most. A chance for them to go 7-5 on the half. But like I said, Niffin on the loss are fine. They're in a super comfortable position on economy. And so they have another full buy round here. And if they invest everything now, that's fine. Because if they do go to the tiebreaker, everybody on each team is given 4,000 in cash, which is more than enough for you to get a full kitted rifle and utility for the round. And so it is going to be, if we go to 6-6, a even playing ground across the board economy-wise, because that's how overtime works. And we are using overtime now in this postseason tournament. We haven't used it all regular season long. And so it's something that maybe these players aren't terribly used to at a super competitive level either. Something that we'll talk more about if we get there. But for now, economy is economy, and Niffin has spent every dollar they have to fully kit themselves out off of that loss. Berserk able to take 4 rifles with them through the next round means that they have all the utility they could ask for here. Static emitters, trip mines, door blockers, all deployed for defense on the bottom floor in our last round. Drone work. Alta's trying to shake off the nerves. And everyone just patiently waiting for that assessment of any roaming. They're looking for Berserk to throw like an off-meta play at them right now. It's something that we have seen. When it comes 6-5, a team will just kind of send it to see if they can win, because if they win, they win. If they lose, they go to a tiebreaker, so they get another chance. And it's kind of like, you know, well, it's a risky way of going about trying to take your last round, but we definitely did see it yesterday. I think I'm on NA in particular. Here comes the play. Push into B. Foam goes down. Nasty drops back, and we wait for the push onto B site. Static emitter is going to be doing some big work if this team does try to push up. And a nice kill there from Mad. Wall breaks down, and Jacobs flies in for a big double that cuts down Niffin to just useless, and there it is. Berserk cleaning things up in a beautiful swing through their own breach. That's one way of locking in a map 1 win for your squad as Berserk go up. And we get ready for our next map. What a way to open things up here for us on this series. And as we do get ready for map number 2, I think I will go to a technical break on our side. We'll rope in Gibular Bob. We'll come right back to break down and talk more about our first map of the afternoon and what we can expect for the rest of today and next weekend, because today is the last day of our top 8. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a few minutes with a little bit of a breakdown and getting ready for map 2. It's just begun, and we've already gotten a 7-5 opener. I can't wait, and you can't wait, so don't go anywhere. welcome back everybody to Berserk versus Niffen, our first best of 3 in our Group B of our top 8 single elimination tournament. Bob, thanks for joining us on the desk this afternoon. We didn't have you for the pre-show when we chatted about these teams and their outcomes this afternoon. And now you do have at least one map in the pocket to reference, which was Factory as our opening map that went 7-5 in the way of Berserk. But, I mean, let's just start talking about this series because we're in it. I think that scoreline's pretty unexpected. If I were to ask you if you thought that we were going to have a 7-5 map 1 between these two teams.
Have to go. I know we had, 1 versus 8 yesterday with Acer EU versus Chaotic. Drew blank there, but that had a much bigger disparity between the two teams. But 7-5 for map 1 between the 2 and 7 seed. This could be a very interesting second map.
Yeah, and we're going to ship. I'll give you some time to pull up the stats, but I am curious how ship will unfold between these two squads for our second map of the afternoon. Obviously getting reworked this season on its internals. And teams getting familiar with that over the course of this season have definitely, I think, flexed a bit of an offensive preference for ship now. We've seen teams definitely come away with more offensive points, in my opinion, than we have in the past. And with Niffen starting on defense and Berserk on the attack, this could be an opportunity for them to kind of open things up and get momentum going on the offensive half on their second map here after leading and taking the lead in the series with map 1 win.
Yeah, we'll see. We've had I've seen offense be good on ship here. I've seen a good defense, pull through, especially in Challenger Cup. We had Chaotic actually won against. I'm drawing a blank on who they were facing, but Blaze EU. That's who they faced off against, and they had a pretty horrendous offense, but defense might be where it's at here for Niffen. We'll see as Nasty is pushing in deep to start off. They're getting chased by Altes, and Matt picks up the first kill of Soria with a quick refrag onto Alkin as we enter a 2 versus 4 now. It's up to Euclid and Soria to hold down the fort, but no. Berserk managed to crack open the defense here, and that might not bode too well for Niffen.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be, again, Berserk trying to put their pedal onto the metal, so to speak, and really elevate the pace of this series now. Because they've got this lead, they have essentially their backs are not, unlike Niffen, their backs are not against the wall. Niffen must win this map to keep their hopes alive of advancing on into the semifinals to go up against the winner of Cheeky Breaky versus Sunset Ravens next weekend. And if they lose here, their season's over. And so that could be something that starts to factor in, Bob. It's maybe why yesterday we saw as many 2-map series as we did, because momentum is something that's hard to work against when you're losing, when the pressure's on, when you're thinking about the prize pool and the victory and coming out on top in the regular season and your season ending. All of that can end up impacting how you play and how comfortable you are in the game.
Seeing in the chat that I might be muted.
Nope, I fixed it.
Okay, awesome. Anyways, but yeah, no, momentum. And this is, we're actually talking about this because, these top 8 matchups ended a lot earlier yesterday than we thought they would. But there's 2 reasons for that. And number 1 is the rounds since Season 2 have been reduced by 30 seconds. So they're now 2.5 minutes long instead of the full 3. And we also have overtime on. So like Nightfire said, that momentum can be a little bit hard to work against. We're not seeing that guaranteed 3rd map at the start anymore. In any case, Nasty found a kill as Altes found a quick bounce back, but there's Mad taking out Noctilus, keeping Berserk ahead in terms of that player count. And again, you're seeing that Berserk are really thriving with those RL picks, Alkin finding Senpai, and it's now a 2 versus 4 once again. We're not seeing a whole lot of resistance here from Niffen. They're stuck. They do have 2 SMGs up, but Altes is on 5 health. They're basically out of this game already. Jacobs finding 1 and dropping the double. to make it a 2-0 game with Berserk, making it look easy here on the offense.
Yeah, no kidding. They are coming in fast and furious off of that map victory and now dominating on the economy. Niffin not able to invest into rifles because of the changes to the meta and the lack of kills that they did get that last round. The SMGs did not pay off. That risk reward definitely didn't work for them. So they have to go back to the SMGs again in hopes that it will work this time. Ideally find a few kills. If they can win the round, great. If they don't and find a few kills, then at least going into round 4, they should have enough for a close to full buy. And I say close to because you obviously see Noctilus investing a little bit heavier this round with some syringes and utility. That's a risk. It's a risk you're taking. It's an investment you're putting in. And, I mean, that's the beauty of the new meta. There's actually that risk-reward thought process that goes into your buys that we were kind of losing throughout maybe honestly most of this season. And so happy to see these adjustments and how the top teams are utilizing them and working with them and how it's working against some teams. And ultimately, you know, we'll see if Berserk can run away with an offensive half here and maybe even take the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'm drawing a blank here, but we do see a drone moving over into Helm as Asoria taking the door. Okay, now I remember what I was going to say. You know, they have 5 SMGs here. I'd actually, if I'm Niffin, maybe take the opportunity to put some roamers out there because what Alkin just team killed Bewares? Nobody was after them. Okay. Interesting start, but you know, if I'm Niffin here, put out some roamers, see if you can get some picks on this Berserk offense because they all have rifles, and if you can kill one of their players, you might be able to get some great firepower off of them. But in any case, the doors have been opened. It's a 2-prong push. Nasty pushing in, finding one. Mad catches the other, making it a double as Nasty finds their second kill, and it's up to Noctilus in a 1 versus 4. And again, we are just seeing the entire Niffin defense collapsing in just the first half of this round, and they can't put out any kind of resistance here. And again, this is where that roamer would have really, you know, helped out. If they had somebody on stairs, it would at the very least slow Berserk down a little bit. But we need to see either more utility from Niffin here to slow them down, maybe some incendiary, some smokes to stop this aggressive push. Or we need to see some kind of roamer to pick apart their defense. I feel as if Niffin could get that first pick in the round, they would probably be able to work off of that momentum to turn it into a win.
I got to agree with you on that, and the utility is king at a high level in games like this. So I think it's why Noctilus is ecoing, right? Because they have that syringe, that extra bit of utility.
Maybe not anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. Too close in the hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of time after a defuse or after the bomb ends for them to go on the prowl, and that does sting because they were definitely trying to carry what little investment they had through with them to the next round and cannot. So now we do see a lack of utility again, Bob, on the Niffin side because everyone's buying into rifles and Noctilus isn't able to carry their kit through with them to the next round, so they have to rebuy it. I think the plan would have been they carry the kit through with them, and then they're the one that gets all the utility for the rest of the Niffin squad. So that play not coming through, that eco not coming through, might impact the defense even more than we think because I agree with you. I think utility, emitters, trip mines, stuff to slow Berserk down is necessary right now, and they're not investing in it.
Yeah, definitely. That's immediately off of watching here. That's the glaring issue that I'm seeing with that Niffin defense. And if they can fix that, it could really help them. But again, we're not seeing that because Noctilus, that's kind of the risk of not going farther from the site to hide because Berserk were aggressive enough to actually chase down that final roamer here. Senpai playing aggressive and they're immediately punished for that. Bewares finds that kill as Alkin finds Noctilus. And we're seeing even a spread formation here. Alkin drops their second kill. Nasty was prepared. And this is just, wow, this is a massacre here for Niffin as Uplis is on the flank, but Alkin heard that audio, found the pre-fire. It's a 4-0 game, and I think this is probably what the chat was expecting to go down. I don't know what happened between maps 1 and 2, but Berserk are locked in here on ship.
Yeah, clearly they're dialed in. Their strats are solid on offense, and I mean, I felt like this is kind of what I saw from Niffin when they attacked. When they swapped sides and went on the attack, they were putting some great plays together. Breaching foam to pull a player down from server room through the hatch to catch the kill. Like, it was some really unique and coordinated efforts coming in. And we're seeing that again with Berserk here, where they are just perfectly in sync on their entries. Everybody is piling through, finding little resistance, or at least connecting with all of their shots. And it just makes it so much harder for Niffen to find a rhythm. So now we get into our 5th round, and because of the way that Niffen have been trying to buy and get into the rhythm of this series, they are, again, essentially out of money. So we have shotguns on the Canut on the playing field, Vipers, and 1 Vezin in the hands of Altus.
I'm not sure I'm liking this defense. I know they're investing in some statics, but the locations in which they've put their utility makes it very open to a good frag grenade push, and you're seeing one tossed in the back of site B right now. We do see the incendiary deployed, so it's a very aggressive defense here. Maybe that's how Niffen needs to respond to Berserk, but once that incendiary expires, you're going to see a collapse here. Now, the static field emitters might make things pretty bad, but Senpai just wasn't watching. Nasty found the double kill. Jacobs found one as well. Upless, and here comes the push from the hatch above, and already Berserker getting ready to take space. They've lost control over fire. Asoria finds the S-tier frag onto Jacobs to bounce it back a little bit, but it's a 2 versus 3. Bewares is already in the site, clearing it out for the rest of their team. Niffen have nobody in to respond to this, and now they're going to have to retake their own site that they're supposed to be defending. And again, fire is a pretty difficult room to put a couple players in to hold at the beginning. You might be able to get a cheap pick with somebody like Senpai there with the Canut, but if you put a bunch of utility in that room, it's automatically going to make the enemy team suspect that somebody's in there playing off of that utility. Now, oh my goodness, with a triple, and they find the clutch moment here. That's going to keep Niffen in this game. They can ride off of this, maybe get that 2nd round under their belt, but very, very nice clutch up there from Altas. It wasn't, I wasn't overly impressed with the defense there, but they got the job done, and that's all that's all that matters,
Swapping out that sweet VRML finalist skin, and let's take another look at the replay there. The push up on the multi-kill with the, what was that, an oral? I think that was, right?
No,
Skin
Altus
Vezin.
had a Vezin.
Yeah, Skin Vezin. Nonetheless, a excellent multi-kill that puts Niffen back into this. Quite frankly, it was starting to spiral, Bob. Berserk were really barreling through on the attack, and it's still not over yet. They've got 1 more round of defense, and Berserk 1 more opportunity to flex and push and attack on the offense to go up 5-1, or I think honestly, if Niffen managed the 4-2, it might be enough. Maybe Niffen's attack will be as good as it was on Factory, and Berserk will have a hard time against it, because 2 points then definitely puts them in a better spot, and so we'll see how things unfold here as we do get ready for our last round of the half. In our 2nd map, Berserk are close, Bob, just 3 points away, and they've got themselves an advancement onto the semifinals.
Well, not if Niffen has anything to say about it, because they did find that, almost an F-tier frag from Jacobs there. They found that previous round, and the door is open. At the very least, they're going to go 5-1 into the 2nd half, but they're going to do their best to make it that 4-2. You can already see, they're purchasing more utility now. And this is what we kind of talked about. This is something that they needed. They need to slow down Berserk's speed. And I like to see that Niffen have recognized that. They're adapting, and potentially they can adapt here and turn this into a 4-2 game as Upless and Altas both find a kill. Asoria picking up 1. It's down to Alkin, and Bewares Noctilus finds that kill. Can Bewares win a 1 versus 4 clutch? Gonna be a pretty tall order with 1.5 minutes on the clock. And this is like a completely new Niffen defense. Once they could find some momentum here, once Altas dropped that triple kill, it revived the spirits of the team here. And if they have a good offense, they could potentially turn this into a map win.
Oof. 1v4 clutch has happened. We've seen aces. Noctilus swings out, and Bewares finds the first. Nice headshot through the corner of that broken wall. They're going to push up onto the side of 2 here. It's all a matter of executing together. There's the one. Ostrich comes in, getting shot to the side, tries to spin onto Uplis and can't. A nice effort, but Uplis shuts it down. And Niffen find their second point. Go up 4-2 on their defense, and we swap sides, Bob. And like I said, maybe it's going to be enough on the side swap, but we'll have to see. Berserk could put up a solid defense here and lock in a series win, but I have a feeling that we could be going to a map 3 for the first time this weekend.
I thought Bewares might have been able to do that at first. I was getting very, very scared for Niffen because Bewares was actually playing that quite well. They were staying in a good position. And Niffen, when you're in that kind of situation, you want to push up onto your opponent at the same time. Don't feed them. That's called feeding when you're going at them one at a time. And it's giving them the opportunity to just win that 1v1 and work down the board until nobody's left. So when you have numbers advantage, use your numbers advantage. Always push with 2 or more people. And that way you're approaching at different angles. Your opponent might be able to take out one, but they can't kill somebody who's on the other side, shooting them in the back. And that's exactly what happened to Bewares at the end there. And ultimately, it gave Niffen that 4-2 game that they were looking for. The door's now opened. They have momentum to work with. They have space if they lose a round. We'll see. Maybe they can turn this into a map win if they have a really clean offense.
20 seconds, and so far, no real movement from Niffen. They are going to slowly make their way into the site, utilize all the bit of droning they can and coordination they can, as Altus and Uplis do barrel through here. Jacob's on the short corner, ready for one, but only one. And a trade there, that's the advantage of stacking. The very least, you don't end up getting to cut down a player and put to a disadvantage. Arguably they are, though, as Uplis is super low on health, and they kind of did their job up there on the aggressive initial defensive setup in terms of catching a kill and doing damage to a second player.
And this is, I'm surprised that the droner, or that the team did not wait for the droner to clear out that particular room, because that is a common spot that flankers will use if you're pushing on the upstairs. You have to be very careful when you're playing on ship, because there's a lot of places that a roamer can be sitting in and waiting for your team to push through. And although they did get the kill, it costs Uplis a lot of health as well. Now, there's the advantage. You're, as Nightfire pointed out, you're stacking on top of your teammates. You're giving them the opportunity to secure a refrag in the case that you go down. So Niffen not out of this, but Uplis quite low on health. They're going to have to play this smart, and there's less than a minute on the clock here, so they're going to have to go quickly now. Mad is over in lounges. Niffen playing off of each other, but Mad doesn't care. They find the double kill anyway, and it's now a 2 versus 4. Uh-oh. Could things be over for Niffen here before they even get started? Beware's over in Infirmary. Asoria playing off of the window here. There's potential for Niffen, but they have a lot of work ahead of them, especially there's 30 seconds on the clock. Asoria picks up another large portion of damage, and Uplis Asoria moving into Site A, but the EMP is out in Lounge. Nasty catching 1 and 2 to make it a 5-2 game, with Berserk getting ever closer to that match point.
They're on the cusp of breaking through to a semifinals advancement, but big plays like this from Mad, catching 2 on the hatch drop and then tucking back in, that is going to get them those early kills we were talking about, Bob, that get them that early advantage. That was big from Mad there, and a really nice job of anticipating that drop down through the hatch by tucking into the corner. And that's just game knowledge, what it comes down to, and guesswork, really. Sometimes it's luck when you predict where the team is going to enter from, and sometimes it's luck when you foam the bottom of a hatch and breach it, and a player actually falls through that hatch. Yeah. That's pretty. That's a little bit of luck. That takes a little bit of luck, but still, it's awesome to see, and we are seeing just such great plays coming in from these top tier squads. It's what you get when you tune into the best of the best, Bob. When you're dropping into the top 8, watching these squads battle it out, you will see some amazing plays. That's been for sure delivered upon both yesterday and already today with Berserk and Niffen.
Fun to watch both of these teams play. Berserk reminding me a lot of the way Acer plays in their, at least in their offensive play style. They're both very, very fast teams they're pushing in, and if you really can't stop that momentum, they're going to eat the team alive. Now, we do see Niffin with that 5-2. They did secure 2 rounds on their defense before moving over to the offense. Pistol round didn't go too well for them, and they've really bought into this. They know that it's the do or die moment, and it's all time for them to push in here, work off of each other, get some picks, maybe secure some of those rifles. If Nasty or Jacobs go down and leave those ROs stranded, it could do a lot of damage to Berserk. But we do see a frag tossed out, picks up a bit of damage onto Noctilus. I do like that Niffin have invested in at least one heal sent by bursting down Ulkin. The door is now open for Niffin to get in and do a little bit more damage. There's Uplis getting that EMP planted. Altes covering their swing, but Bewares was there on the flank, and Mad looking to push off. But look at the slaughter from Noctilus, who finds 2. Mad catches Uplis, both Noctilus and Altes very, very low. But Altus doesn't care. They find that kill, and Niffin, this is why you go forward too. They have some padding here, and now they get some momentum. They get the rifles, the heals. Look, they brought 3 heals into this next round, and Berserk gonna be struggling to pay their bills.
Another look at that multi-kill to crack things open from Noctilus, perfectly timed as the duo from Berserk overcommits. We've seen that time and time again, Bob, at a high level when these teams are winning. They do tend to kind of send it. And if you can catch that, you can catch multi-kills like we saw there. It happened yesterday as well on EU, with I think Acer EU for maybe one of the rounds they did lose. But still, it was a nice effort and great coordination from Niffin to put themselves back on the board and chip away at the lead. I gotta wonder what's gonna happen from here. Berserk investing very minimally, with some Jacobs and Nasty in particular ecoing entirely.
And yeah, 3 SMGs, 2 super ecoers with Nasty and Jacobs running that Jesper. I always think, when you're in Niffin's shoes here, the objective is to not take needless losses. You don't want to be giving, especially, you don't want Nasty and Jacobs to be getting killed with those Jespers. You really want to make Berserk lose as much money as possible here. Uplis finds Mad. You don't want to give Berserk the opportunity to earn anything and keep your team alive for as long as possible. We're finally starting to see Niffin lock in and put on a great offense here. They're taking a lot of space in Workshop right now, but Jacobs walking through on the stealth route, and Asoria drops a rifle, but Nasty almost goes down, and they may play the risk here. They do play the risk. I'm very surprised that Niffin gave up on the angle, because now they've given Nasty that rifle. And Alkin catches 1, 2, looking for a third. Bewares might have a go at it. And there's Nasty. Oh no, on the same angle that they lost the rifle, they now lose the round, and Berserk move up to match points. And when you're in that scenario, priority number 1 has got to be taking out Nasty and getting that rifle back.
I mean, they are so close to locking in a series win, advancing on to the semifinals, and challenging our winner of our next best of 3, which will be Sunset Ravens versus Cheeky Breaky, which will be coming up shortly after this series finishes. So we still have plenty of EU postseason left today, but once that's done, we go into semifinals on Saturday next weekend and grand finals on Sunday, where one team will come out on top with $1,000 in cash and that first place standing going into that next season. I mean, it means a lot in terms of recruiting and everything. So these teams fighting for the honors and that cash at the end of the day for first place. We love to see that pressure in moments like this, Bob. And Niffin, well, it's do or die right now. They must win 3 in a row and take it to a tiebreaker.
They really have to go all the way here in this round and win 3 back-to-back just to get to overtime, and then maybe win an overtime round. It's not looking great for Niffin, but it is still doable. Look, they've got rifles, they've got some SMGs. Berserk have a little bit more utility. Honestly, I feel like maybe we should have seen Noctilus or Senpai not purchase an SMG, maybe run a pistol even for this round, just so that they could buy more utility for the rest of their team. And I think what we've seen here from Niffin is maybe they don't understand the full value of some utility pieces, because once they started to use it on their defense, notice those were the 2 rounds that they won.
Right.
When they weren't using those, they lost very, very quickly. But in any case, here we go into round number 10 as the walls open up. Noctilus opening things with a kill onto Alkin, but Jacobs on the flank with a double kill. Altes finds Nasty, but there's a good frag that may catch one. It's a little bit too shallow though. 3 versus 3 is Asoria and Uplis looking to push into Site B. Asoria is actually already in there, and Bewares may surprise somebody or may get surprised by Asoria as they're on the opposite side of the box from each other. And Bewares is not looking. Now they are, and they catch Asoria looking for the swing out, finds the goal, and it's up to Uplis to pick up the pieces, to keep their hands in this game, to keep Niffin alive, and it doesn't happen. And Berserk are going to be moving on to the semifinals next weekend.
A well-earned victory in their final map on Ship. Berserk nearly losing map 1 as things came down to the wire, but have stepped up here in map 2 and shown why they are that 2nd place seed in the EU region. This team is the team that I think folks are anticipating to be challenging Acer EU. I think that's what people are looking forward to for the finals, if there were to be a final prediction on who is going to be 1 and 2 and battling against each other. Acer EU obviously going up against Nexus next weekend, and now Berserk going up against the winner of Cheeky Breaky and Sunset Ravens, which is up next. And looking forward to that one. But Bob, your final thoughts on the map you did catch with Ship and Berserk's performance?
Say very, very impressed with the way that Berserk played, especially on their offensive half. They really moved in quickly. They understood what they needed to do to win. They understood the assignment, really, and executed it, as Martini would say, with clinical precision, but very, very solid game. And as far as Niffin goes, I was impressed with the 2 rounds that they won on the defense. I liked some of the pushes that they were doing on offense. The problem is they were not using enough utility. Utility is so important when you get up to these master tier matchups, these top 7 matchups. You can't just rely on gun skill to win alone. You have to be making use of that utility. Drones, they could have solved some problems, identified some roamers if they had proper droning techniques on their team. They could have slowed down Berserk and maybe won more of those defensive rounds if they placed the utility a little bit earlier, but they would always invest into those SMGs. And while it's important to do that, it's also important to have one of those teammates play support and maybe not opt to purchase that SMG in favor of, picking up a pistol, but also getting a bunch of utility for their team.
Yep, the meta is still fresh and people are adjusting, and we're going to see how Cheeky Breaky and Sunset Ravens adjust. But first, exclusive interviews. Me and Bob spent our time chatting with all of the top 8 teams across both regions over the course of the last few weeks, and we have worked tirelessly with our creator team to edit and deliver you these high-quality interviews, so we do hope you enjoy the insight into both Cheeky Breaky and Sunset Ravens, your next matchup coming up next.
In the site, tossing that frag, and Sight finds the pick on a 1, finds the double. Can they take out the triple? Oh no, Freezer taking out Fuse. Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, and today I have with me Fuse from Cheeky Breachy, currently the number 6 team in the European standings. Fuse, how you doing? Why don't you introduce yourself and your role on the team?
I am Fuse, I'm doing pretty good. I'm the most well-known alcoholic in the EU.
Awesome. So we can hop right into the questions. Actually, really quick, your captain, Bimo, sent me a quick little thing that he wanted me to read before you start answering the question. The views, this says disclaimer. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by Fuse are solely those of the individual and do not reflect the official policy, position, or endorsement of Cheeky Breachy, its affiliates, officers, directors, employees, or agents. Any content, statements, or remarks made by Fuse, whether expressed in public forums, digital media, or other communications, are for informational purposes only and should not be interpreted as representing the beliefs, policies, or positions of Cheeky Breachy. Cheeky Breachy expressly disclaims any liability for any claims, damages, or other consequences that may arise from the dissemination, interpretation, or reliance upon views or opinions by Fuse. Under no circumstances shall Cheeky Breachy be held responsible or liable for any actions taken based on the statements or opinions of Fuse, nor shall it be construed as a direct endorsement of such statements. This disclaimer applies to all statements made by Fuse, irrespective of platform or context, and is intended to clarify that any such statements are made in any individual capacity and are not affiliated with or endorsed by Cheeky Breachy. Cheeky Breachy reserves the right to amend, modify, or clarify this disclaimer at its sole discretion without prior notice. Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's go right into the questions. First of all, how did it feel to skip that Challenger Cup, Fuse?
I mean, after that, it felt pretty bad, but yeah, it feels pretty good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of a long day to be playing there, so it must feel nice to get that done and out of the way. Now, let me ask you this. Did you expect to be number 6 this season? I mean, Cheeky Breachy's always been consistently, reaching that top 7. Did you expect to be higher, lower? How did that work out?
I mean, me personally, I expected to be where I am. I expected to be here, but Cheeky Breachy, I don't know. I'm new to the team. This is the first season with the team, so I didn't know how it was going to go, but yeah, I'm quite happy to be here. I think we deserved it.
Awesome. Now, what would you say is, because this is your first season with Cheeky Breachy, what stood out to you as one of the best moments of your first season with this team?
We all work full time. We all just came here to play for a bit of fun, and we're just guys that get along, and we do what we do.
So not one that really stands out, huh? Is there a moment? Let me ask you this: is there a moment that you would that you would consider your worst moment of the season, or is that kind of just, was that not there?
I've probably been drunk and bomb fragged at one point, so yeah, we'll say that is my worst moment.
There you go. Awesome.
There you go.
Now, coming up this weekend, you're playing the number 3 seed Sunset Ravens. How's the preparation for that coming together? Are you scrimming? Are you just kind of taking it easy? What are the plans here?
I'm drinking as much as possible before then. Yeah, it's going pretty good. Cheeky Breachy, we aren't scrimming much. We're scrimming tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're just gonna take it as it comes and beat whoever we need to.
All right, nice. Nothing wrong with that strategy. And this final question's optional. Feel free to answer this if you would like. But if you did win that prize pool, $1,000 in $1,000 in cash, what would you do with that money?
But the alcoholic in me wants me to buy beer. Okay, I'm gonna admit it. But the real answer is probably I'm doing driving lessons. It'll probably be in a car in some point.
All right, nice. And maybe just a quick disclaimer: don't drink and drive. There you go. All right, well, we do want to thank Fuse and Cheeky Breachy for giving us the opportunity to interview them today. Really quick, Fuse, anybody you want to shout out before we wrap up here?
Beamer for being the word I can't see on this. So yeah, take that as you will.
All right, awesome. And thanks, Beamer, for the little disclaimer included at the beginning of this. But in any case, again, big thank you to Cheeky Breachy. Good luck against Sunset Ravens. Good luck with the rest of the postseason if you move on after that. And that is going to do it for our interview here. But don't worry, we got plenty more where this came from. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your night, everybody. Adam does, but oh my!
And here comes the Sander, pistol out, finds a triple kill. So I think Adam should try and invest in ecoing here, but they're going to sprint.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Breachers, VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, and today we've got one of our EU finalist teams, Sunset Ravens here, who finished number 3 in the regular season. With me today, I have Winter Wolf, Toniko, Adam, Pookie, or their captain, Jedi Milo, Mac Dissender, and Mike D10. How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Awesome. So let's just quickly go through and list off everybody here on the team and what your role is on the team. We'll start with you, Winter Wolf.
Oh, hi there. People call me Winter most of the time, I'll say. And I'm usually the support slash flex. I can be flex, but yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Toniko?
So on defense, I'm usually roaming, and on attack, I'm also second frag support.
All right, cool. Adam?
Yes, I'm Adam. I am entry frag and IGL.
Jedi Milo?
I am the captain, and I also play support frag.
Awesome. Mac?
I am the support frag, or support player. Resident bomb frag.
Thank you. Dissender?
It's Dissender, yeah. I am co-captain of Sunset Ravens, and I usually play flexible roles.
Sorry about the mispronunciation there. Finally, Mike.
No problem.
Yeah, on attack, I usually play the droner and EMP planter, and on defense, I usually play offside, and I would occasionally roam as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and thank you for attending. Now, just a couple of quick questions here. First off, how does it feel to skip that whole Challenger Cup step? Because you had to play that in the last season.
Yeah, if it was pretty good, obviously, having to play it is like a risk, but we would have won it anyway.
I love the confidence there. Did you expect to be number 3 when you finished this season?
I was hoping to be number 2, but 3 works.
Okay, so you were hoping to be a little higher on the ladder this time around, yeah?
Just a little bit.
Now, what do you think was the best moment of the season? Because I thought I saw a lot of great improvement from your team when I casted some of your games this season.
I can answer that one. I think the absolute best moment for our team was the Acer match on Hideout. We went from 1-5 to 7-5 comeback. I feel like it was a very good performance on our part. Even though we lost the matchup, we still performed very well because a lot of people in the community underestimated us, and they thought that it would be a very easy game for Acer. But again, we proved ourselves, I think.
Definitely. Now, is there anything that you would consider the worst moment of the season?
Personally, I think our worst one was definitely the loss against Berserk. Because we were absolutely on a roll before that. But we just weren't in the right mindset for that game. And it definitely showed. We lost it terribly.
Yeah, it can be difficult if the mental isn't quite there sometimes. Now, with that in mind, how are you preparing heading into the closed qualifiers? Are you working on that mental team chemistry? Are you scrimming, or are you just kind of taking it easy?
Oh yes, we usually scrim every day, every other day, like a lot of things. And sure, we do WOD reviews and preparation for teams. I feel like a lot of teams in VRML do that, and we absolutely need to work on our consistency to reach the top and compete in the finals.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a good plan, making sure that you're staying on top of the team's performance in the off season is, something that shows a lot of reward as you move into the rest of the postseason. Now, this is an optional question. Anybody on the team can answer this if you want. But if you did win the prize money, what would you spend it on?
Well, I think I would do a little something like this.
Oh, this guy, bro. Steals all money. I see you.
Take the money and run. There you go.
Exactly. That's the first step to my plan for something. I don't know quite the plan, but the first step to having a plan is to think about a plan.
There you go. Anybody else have a different approach?
Spend it all on breaches coins and buy skins. That's my goal.
Okay, breacher skins, always something good to spend on.
I need more skins, man.
Do you have any of the bundles?
Nah, I can do the bundle,
Oh, there you go. There you can get a nice bundle, nice seasonal reward there in the form of a bundle. Anybody else? Well, in that case, we do want to thank Sunset Ravens for taking the time out of their day to be interviewed here. Really quick, does anybody have anything you want to shout out at the end of the interview here?
Shout out to Gibular Bob for being the amazing caster, and also just like completely favoriting us and casting all our games the whole season. Don't worry, your cut of our winnings will be wired directly to your. I mean, sorry. I mean, thank you for your generosity.
I
have no
appreciate
idea
that.
what's
I'll be expecting the check, but no. Again, we do thank Sunset Ravens for taking some time out of their day, and of course, we do wish you best of luck heading into the postseason. That is going to do it for this interview, but don't worry, we have plenty more action coming up very soon. We'll see you all in the next interview. Have a fantastic rest of your night, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML Season 3 EU Top 8 Single Elimination Tournament. My name's Nightfire with 2 E's, and I'm joined by Gibular Bob for our last matchup of EU this weekend. It is Sunset Ravens versus Cheeky, Breaky, and Bob. Your thoughts on this series before we dive into our first map?
Well, this is very, very interesting. I'm excited for this one. Cheeky Breachy, very, very solid team. They have been in the EU postseason in every season, except for maybe preseason. I don't know if they were in that one off the top of my head, but they've always been a contender that has been up towards the top. They've never actually won the championship, but they've made it very, very close. And so they're a team of very skilled players, and I'm curious to see how they're going to do. Now, Sunset Ravens are a little bit different. They're a team that didn't have a fantastic season 2. They did go. They had to participate in the Challenger Cup, and I don't believe
Sunset
they
Ravens?
won that.
Oh, last season.
Yes, Sunset Ravens did.
Okay.
Yeah, last season.
Yeah.
But this season, they've been on fire, and they're actually the number 3 seed in this tournament. So they've been very, very solid. So excited to see where we're going to go for this first map.
I mean, I see it in chat. We talked a little bit about it off screen, but you know, even in the coordination efforts going into interviews, we tend to see a trend. If you have the whole team there, able to make it, able to come together for the interview, that shows to me that there's that team effort coordination behind it. But when you only have 1 or 2 folks in the interview, it does tend to, it can be a sign that maybe the team isn't in sync or as locked in as you expect. And I mean, I don't know. It's a trend. Like, if we go back and look at all the interviews and see who, if you have more people in your interview, do you have a higher chance of winning? I think the answer might be yes. You know what I mean? Just the tinfoil hat theory, though. As we do get ready to dive into our first map of the afternoon on Ship. And Bob, what do the stats say for us between these two squads on Ship?
Sunset Ravens, I've seen them play here before. They play a very good Ship. Unfortunately for them, so does Cheeky Breachy. Now, actually, the last time these two teams played against each other, I casted, and it was a 14-3 game with Sunset Ravens playing what I would say was one of the best games of Breachers I'd ever seen them play. It was very, very solid. We'll see. Maybe history shall repeat itself, but I wouldn't expect Cheeky Breachy to roll over and take this one. So we'll see how they do. Sunset Ravens, of course, starting off on that offense. Cheeky Breachy taking the defense. And we'll see. We've got a solid lineup here. Scottish Ripper, probably one of the best European tourist players in the game. So I'm very curious to see if they'll make that tourist work or if maybe Cheeky Breachy are going to get taken out by Sunset Ravens.
It's do or die. Your season ends if you lose in this best of 3 here today. And if you win, you advance on to the semifinals. The winner here goes up against the winner we just watched in our last best of 3. As some shots connect, BMO scoops up Adam. More shots from Scottish Ripper that do find Mac, and the Taurus shines at that medium to long range.
And even Sunset Ravens are admitting they haven't played a whole lot towards the end of the season. So maybe they're shaking off some of the cobwebs right now, but it is a very good start for them as Scottish Ripper found a kill and they were able to take out Mac and Adam. Scottish Ripper didn't find that. The other one was BMO who found the other kill, but nevertheless, a better start for Cheeky Breachy here as they haven't even lost a player yet. Two-prong opening from Sunset Ravens as an incendiary is tossed. Disander with a double, an S-tier frag, and look at the push here from SR. It's aggressive, but actually Mike and Scottish ran right past each other into the smoke, and Scottish, with a headshot, point blank. Very lethal. You can see the 6-shooter there. Very nice opening from Cheeky Breachy as they're able to take out Sunset Ravens, although that was a pretty interesting push from SR.
Yeah, no kidding. When you have people nearly touching elbows in the smoke and then ending the round like that, yeah, it's a pretty interesting push. But the Taurus and honestly Scottish Ripper kind of clutched up that pistol round for them. The two kills at distance down the long hallway, then that last kill to end the round. Some big plays that net them that round one. And I think we talked about it, like Cheeky has all the players are great. They have great players. You know, I think when you get to this level, typically the coordination is what stands out. That's going to determine victory. At this high of a skill level, but you can definitely win off of just good plays and good players. So maybe Cheeky Breachy are just going to kind of rely on that, their skill set that they've built and developed over all the hours they put into this game.
Yeah, now keep in mind that was only round one.
Of course.
But I tend to think that, Cheeky Breachy are a team that really make other teams underestimate them. So I wouldn't be taking this lightly if I was SR, because again, Cheeky Breachy, they say, oh, we don't play, they have consistently been in that number 2, number 3 spot. And so, yeah, you don't want to be just underestimating Cheeky Breachy here, because they can put on a great show. Now, SR with an aggressive opening here as they're already into the site. Jedi Milo looking to get that EMP planted. There's Freezer tossing a static field emitter, trying to slow down Jedi Milo a little bit, but Freezer finds the kill onto Jedi. Disander finds one, and Mike with a kill onto BMO, and they're super equaling. Freezer finds Mac in the meantime. That EMP actually not finished yet, as Freezer may get pinched here, but we do see a couple of omens in the hands of Cheeky Breachy. Mike D10, though, is making me a little bit concerned. Oh, no, they put the Knut down. Mike D10 finding fuses. Freezer bounces back with a kill onto Adam, and it is now a 1 versus 2 as Mike finds the kill, but there's the second from Mike. They're able to refrag off of Disander, and a very solid opening here from Sunset Ravens. They're quick to let everybody know that they are not out of this quite yet.
Quite yet. We've only just begun in this best of 3. Quite frankly, if we're just to go off seeding, we could be headed straight to a tie game here. With plays like this, I'm certainly excited, though. A nice pickup on the double from Mike as they scoop Jado on the swing, and then Freezer tries the transfer for 2, but can't in time. So Mike clutching up the double kill after the EMP does get planted, and a nice bit of profit into the hands of Sunset Ravens off the map win and the EMP plant going down. That gives you money across your team when that comes through as well. So kind of a 2-for-1 bonus there on the round win, and they're able to invest pretty big here as we do see Vezins and an Omen coming across for that Sunset Ravens squad.
Yeah, and Cheeky Breachy also picking up a rifle as well, though it's an RL and not a Vezin. So SR, they've gotten, they've gotten a lot better in Season 3 here. We talked a little bit about that in our interview with them, but drone moving in, you love to see the utility in play here. Again, they've invested in a ton of it. And Cheeky Breachy with the static and some incendiaries of smoke. So they're giving themselves some options as well. And, I sound like a broken record, but it's so important that you understand each piece of utility and its use when you get up into the top levels of VRML gameplay, because it can really change the game for you. It can save your push or it can kill it. Mac finds the kill onto Scottish Ripper, speaking of kills, and Fuse found one onto Descender as we enter into a 4 versus 4. But actually, Cheeky Breachy have a free rifle to play off of.
Yeah, it's pretty big for Fuse. They can try and do some big damage here as they almost catch the headshot. Adam's going to try and push up and catches Fuse rotating away. Nice bit of pressure, challenging them on that swing, not letting them drop back and tuck in. And some teams, some players don't commit to that aggression, Bob. And it's why they did try to just kind of full sprint drop back, and we're anticipating Adam maybe swinging out and finding a second kill as BMO comes down to try and pick up that Vezin on the floor. Freezer and Jado are now alone.
And Freezer gets caught by Mike D10. It's up to Jado as that EMP is getting planted by Jedi Milo. What do you even do here if you're Jado? You're on 51 health, no way to get that back up, and you have the Omen. You're playing against 4 rifles, and they're in a pretty tricky spot here. They may go for that rifle, but again, we're not seeing a whole lot of coordination here from Cheeky Breachy. They did lose that rifle. Fuse dropped that. BMO tried to pick it up, but good on SR for actually using it as bait and leaving it for a Cheeky Breachy player to pick up, and then they could just secure the kill. But Jado doesn't really have a whole lot of options here. They may just go for this save, and it looks like that is the plan, as that EMP is going to defuse. But again, this is the SR that I'm used to seeing here. We talked about this. They went 14-3 against Cheeky Breachy the last time they played, and coincidentally, the first map for that was also on ship. So history is kind of repeating itself as SR just so happened to pick up their second round.
Yep. Now the economy snowball comes into effect, or not. Cheeky Breachy do have the opportunity for the full buy. Coming off of that early round win on the pistol, they've got that extra money in their pocket because they didn't overinvest into that defensive round. And they did find a few kills. So ultimately, it's another pretty much full buy round 4. And I got to wonder if Sunset Ravens are going to be ready for that. They also are getting utility, Bob. And again, and like we talked about last series, especially if you want to slow down what is a runaway offense, you need yourself to have those immolation nades, those static emitters, trip mines, things that are going to force them to take a pause and slow the momentum and pace down, because then you stop it from being on their time and change it to being on yours. And so that really, that interruption of the cadence of a team that's really settling into a rhythm like Sunset Ravens might be, can go a long way. And we do see some static emitters and immolation nades getting scooped up by BMO, Fuse, and Breezer.
Exactly, and this was the downfall of Niffen, really, because when you're on that defense, the offensive team is going to be setting the pace of the round, and it's up to you as the defenders to try and adjust their pace and force them to play the way that you want them to. And that's where utility comes in, and You slow them down with grenades, incendiary, static field emitters, trip mines, things that they have to spend time droning out and identifying before you can actually go ahead and go on and move on with the push. And we haven't seen too much of that happening from Cheeky Breachy. They have tried a little bit, but again, gotta be using that utility. And Desander with a perfect read onto BMO. I think maybe either the drone spotted BMO or maybe the barrel of that Canutt was visible. But Adam finds another kill as we're into a 3 versus 5. Not a whole lot of response here from Cheeky Breachy as the wall has opened up. Jado Vreezer playing center B. There's a smoke tossed and a static, but ultimately, that's not going to do a whole lot because they can just shoot the top of the static. It's more advantageous to throw an incendiary, and here comes the charge as Adam pushes in. Jado gets refragged. Vreezer taking out Mike D10, and Desander was there to secure the final kill, make it a 3-1 game. And, well, SR just kind of speeding through this first half.
Indeed they are, and I have a feeling that we could be this weekend dealing with a bunch of best-of-2 series. Now, of course, it's early to say for NA if we are going to have best-of-2s there as well, but quite frankly, Sunset Ravens looking good like this definitely could run some momentum away, into 2-map best-of-3 here. And I think then it makes me look forward to more of the semifinals. I think once we get to the semis, I argue we're probably almost assured to have some 3-map series there. I really do look forward to getting into those semifinals series, and the Sunset Ravens do end up going up against Berserk, then I think that would be a great semifinal series. Acer, EU, and Nexus will be a lot of fun, and then whoever ends up winning those 2 series goes up into the finals on Sunday. So we still have a lot of action left for postseason once this EU best-of-3 does end. And we also do obviously have NA later today at 1:30 p.m. PST. We'll be diving into the North American Group B for the top 8.
Yeah, Martini will be joining us for that one. And I mean, already we had a great day 1 for North America. We had a great EU day 1. All around, even when we've had some matches that haven't been as close, it's still been a ton of fun to watch the teams play here. And yeah, once you get to next weekend is when you're going to start to see the really, really good matchups. We had to get through this initial seeding. First of all, we got the Challenger Cup, and then we need to get through some of the matchups. And now that teams are starting to beat each other, we're going to get a bunch of really fun games. I mean, Acer EU versus Nexus, going to be a lot of fun to watch. We're going to see Berserk move up and Fuse. Oh my goodness, an S-tier frag. Jedi Milo catches Scottish Ripper. But yeah, I mean, we could see Sunset Ravens versus Berserk here. We could see Cheeky Breachy. Whoever's winning here is facing off against Berserk next weekend. Either team is going to be a ton of fun. And there's Vreezer with the double kill. Very, very calm about the whole thing. And 1 round off of tying it up for Cheeky Breachy.
Yeah, we're counting them out too early by a large margin here. Sunset Ravens have not finished the job by any stretch of the matter. And if we do look at that seeding, I think they're only separated by 3 points or something. Cheeky Breachy is 6th and Sunset Ravens 3rd. So it's still a super close on the regular season seeding matchup this afternoon. I think I'd be more surprised if Cheeky Breachy didn't put on a solid contest this afternoon, and they certainly are playing under pressure. That's probably when maybe they play the best, as we do listen to some of the charms that they're showing off. One of the new features to the game that's been recently added in. We do love to see all the things Triangle Factory's done. The meta updates, all the changes to the maps. It's so fun to keep this game so fresh, and I think it's why we continue to see more and more folks jumping into Breachers.
Absolutely. I mean, this season has shown us tremendous growth in Breachers, and I absolutely love to see it. This is a fantastic VR game. I've been sticking with it for, over a year now. I have 360 hours cast in the game alone, if that's anything to go off of. And, we're seeing new teams pop in every time. And hey, maybe next season we'll see, you know, a brand new team climb all the way to the top. So always love to see the growth that these, both the NA and EU leagues are getting. But in any case, here we are, round number 6, the halftime round. Once we end this, Sunset Ravens are going to be on the defense, and Cheeky Breachy will find themselves with the offensive task as Scottish Ripper finds Jedi Milo to open up the round. Jada picked up a lot of damage, but is able to find Sander. 3 versus 5 already, as Sunset Ravens have to contend once again with a 2-player advantage of, this is like, I'm getting deja vu. This is like the first round all over again.
Yeah. Cheeky Breachy's starting to settle in now, getting comfortable and confident, peeking out. And sometimes overextending, just a touch there, but still 4v2 advantage. Limited health on Jado, obviously at 8 HP, and no health strings available. Mac gets caught out down the long lane. Mike did not see Fuse cross, and Scottish Ripper cleans things up for Cheeky Breaky. They tie their half 3-3, and we may have counted the eggs too fast, and so has Sunset Ravens, clearly. As we do swap sides, defensive half might be what they need to take the rest of the points for the map, but I think that was a solid defensive half from Cheeky Breachy.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And once again, don't underestimate Cheeky Breachy, because they may appear to be not much of a threat. Oh, you know, we hear the story. Oh, we haven't played in 2 months and we don't ever scrape. But look, they're tied against Sunset Ravens right now. So evidently they are still very, very good, whether they've been secretly practicing and holding out on us or not. They're still a threat against Sunset Ravens and could absolutely, now that they're on the offense, really bring it home here. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Sunset Ravens were hiding their defense, and they will once again find a lot of momentum here against Cheeky Breachy. But starting off from round number 7, 2.5 minutes on the clock, as Vreezer, Jado, Fuse, all looking to move in quite fast to lower blue. And Jedi Milo might have to contend with swinging into 3 players here as they almost have a go at it. Mac finds the kill onto Vreezer. BMO upstairs as Desander might get pinched. Fuse finds 1. BMO finds 1. 4 versus 3 as Cheeky Breachy are playing the smart. They're sticking together, except for there when BMO pushed alone into 2 players. Jado, Fuse, Scottish Ripper all over outside of A. And Jado just says, hey, I'm going to walk right into the site. Fuse catches Mac, who tries to rotate through the vent. Here comes Adam through the vent, and Scottish ripping the head off, just as the name says. And it's now up to Mike D10 to take out Scottish Ripper and Jado and defuse that EMP. They catch a lot of damage onto 1. Jado looks to have a go at the swing. Scottish Ripper blind fired, and this is really where you start to team up if you're Cheeky Breachy. Just push at the same time here. Overwhelm Mike D10. They might have a go at that. No! Scottish Ripper taking out Mike D10 with another headshot. Very reminiscent of how it went in the first round of this game, but solid take there from Cheeky Breachy. I think their only major mistake is we did see BMO push into 2 defenders, but you know, they're sticking together as a team, and we didn't see a whole lot of utility from Sunset Ravens, so maybe Cheeky Breachy are going to realize that this is the key to winning their offense.
The Taurus definitely shining in these pistol rounds for Cheeky Breaky, and something we really haven't seen a lot of in the postseason. You know, I think maybe 1 round it was picked up, but it's got a, you know, there's the Taurus Bible for a reason. There's people that love this gun for a reason. There's a whole community around the gun for a reason, and we see it here on display with multiple kills getting scooped up by the likes of, who was it using it?
Scottish Ripper?
Scottish Ripper, yeah. So they're bringing it back again for another round on the attack, minimizing their investment, keeping their pockets full, and you can see a lot of utility getting picked up by Cheeky Breaky here on their second offensive round.
Drone moving into Coffee, looking to get some early intel, and it spots Desander as Fuse Scottish Ripper making entry over on the other side of Helm. And we talked about this a little bit after the first round. We don't see a whole lot of utility out here from Sunset Ravens. And Cheeky Breachy could catch wind of this. Scottish Ripper finds Jedi Milo. That's the advantage of using the Taurus, right? It's so hard to get those consistent headshots. But if you are somebody who can make it work, you can end up doing a lot of damage to the enemy team. There's one wall open. Here comes the two-prong as BMO opens up the other side of communication. Scottish Ripper finds another one tap. Looking for, oh, they find a third. There's no stopping Scottish as Mike D10 on the flank, but it may be a little too late as Fuse finds Desander and Mike D10 on the flank looking for Jado. They will almost go down, but they find the kill, and they're now in a 1 versus 3 with a Jesper nonetheless.
Triple kill Taurus as Mike tries to do some damage to BMO, and with the slice of HP left, cannot. Still, though, going 8-6 on the half for them is pretty solid, but Cheeky Breaky are in the lead comfortably right now, Bob. They've got the economy advantage. Sunset Ravens are going to be able to finally full buy, but I think Cheeky Breaky have the possibility of taking this map 7-3 right now.
There's potential. We're not seeing the resistance from Sunset Ravens that I thought we would. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Scottish Ripper, 12-4, the only person to enter the double digits in this game. Sunset Ravens are just having problems again with utility here on the defense. Do we have any place? I don't see any door blockers. I don't see a static field emitter, trip mines, anything. What is going on? We need to see this utility placed. You know, I'm thinking back to Nifin, and we're seeing the same problems here that we saw on Nifin. There's not enough investment going into defensive utility. We see some trip mines purchased, but there's no incendiaries, no grenades. And look over at Cheeky Breachy. They are stacked. Their pockets are lined. This is when you have somebody, again, play that pistol. You're not going to be able to get, you know, that SMG and maybe get a pick that way, but at least you'll have some utility to keep your team alive and in the game and control the pace of the defenders a little bit.
Yeah, they need to get some control over their defensive half, because right now they definitely do not have it. Cheeky Breaky have all of the utility they could ask for, too, as the drone comes in over the top, and Scottish Ripper continues to dominate. Whether it's a Taurus or a rifle in their hand, they're finding kills today consistently, and with a slice of HP, we'll get full health off of that health syringe. Mac going to push up, but like you said, Bob, no utility, so no heal available for Mac. And they're only a pistol shot away from going down.
Yeah, anything, even just a body shot from a Vezin pistol, it would take Mac down. Adam on the flank manages to find BMO and could go for the rifle recovery, but there's Scottish Ripper denying access to that. Jado finds Jedi Milo, and Desander on the flank does manage to pick Jado. Scottish Ripper looking for a refrag, but again, no heal or anything. Mac does have that rifle. Desander looking to have another go, but the EMP has been planted, so not only do Desander and Mac have to kill all three of these Cheeky Breachy players, but they're going to have to defuse that EMP as well. We're seeing a lot of stalling happening. Maybe Freezer will find the kill. They do find the kill. It's now just up to Mac, who's looking to have a go at the same angle, and Freezer says, okay, I'll take you out as well.
We go to map point with Cheeky Breaky in control of this series. Looking at a 7-3 map win here would be huge going into, I think, their map pick. Or no, maybe I think it's Sunset Ravens map pick for that second map. And so maybe a chance for Sunset Ravens to regain some control there, depending on where we go for map 2. But it's not over yet. Last time we counted our eggs before they hatched, look what happened. You know, Sunset Ravens could bounce back. This is kind of a tough buy for them, though. They're only going to get, I mean, it's interesting now, right? Because when we look at a Vezins versus kind of a hodgepodge of guns like we're seeing on Sunset Ravens, it's still, the Oral's still pretty effective. The Omen's great in close quarters. The Cadillo is effective with headshots. And then 2 Vezins, you know, like it's still a dangerous defense that Cheeky Breaky are going into here, but double drone, double foam, and everything that they need for them is going to make it hard for Sunset Ravens to get any momentum again.
Right. Again, they have, you know, what they need to win their gunfights, but that's not really where they're struggling here because Cheeky Breachy are so well stocked with supplies that they can really, you know, make things work. I'm not sure what the static is doing out here. You know, it's not really the ideal place to put one. And it's just making me wonder about this Sunset Ravens defense. You know, where's the Sunset Ravens that's number 3? They're just not playing like a team that I would expect to be in their position would. But, you know, Vreezer tossing the smoke. We'll see. Maybe Sunset Ravens have been waiting to lock in here. Mike D10 at the other end of the side hallway. Vreezer firing some shots. Oh, the incendiary. They routed Mike D10 right into it. And great use of the smoke as well. Mac found Fuse in the meantime, making it a 4 versus 4, but they're refragged by Scottish Ripper. Desander, meanwhile, finds BMO. Adam taking out Vreezer with the double. Now the triple to Jado. That's what we need to see from Sunset Ravens. Maybe this momentum is going to push them forward.
Yeah, they can take 3 Vezins through with them, which they desperately need because they're not going to be able to get rifles onto the rest of their team. So that's going to be 2 Omen buys most likely from both Mac and Mike. But, to your point, they'll have all the utility that they could ask for. In comparison, Cheeky Breaky, I think, off of the consecutive wins, can full buy here. And it's definitely a risk. Like, it's not quite a full buy either. And to your point, there's not a lot of utility that's going to be coming out here. Maybe BMO can pick up a bunch. Yeah, they'll have enough. It's everything, though. You know, if they lose here, Sunset Ravens have a real chance of bringing us to that 6-6 tiebreaker.
We could absolutely see that, but again, this is, you know, we're seeing really kind of that old Breacher style versus the new Breacher style here, where this was the approach that a lot of teams took before the big meta changes, right? Where they had one of those players like BMO on the team go, you know what? Hey, I'll take one for the team here. I won't purchase a rifle. I'll stick with a Jesper or a Spectral, but I will buy a lot of utility. And look, they purchased 2 drones, heals, smokes, frags. They understand over on Cheeky Breachy how important utility is here. Now we're starting to see Sunset Ravens apply that same logic, and it really could help them out, maybe get them to that 6-5 that they're looking for. But Cheeky Breachy understand the assignment. They know how to set up a good offense here. They know how to spend that money, and we'll see. It could really go to either team at this point, but Desander with a nice start as Adam frag, S-tier frag from Adam. And it's up to BMO, Scottish, and all of those supplies that BMO invested in are now sitting on the floor. And Sunset Ravens have found their pace here on the offense.
Yeah.
Excuse me, on the defense.
Yeah, they have. Cheeky Breaky, you're going to try and just eco here. Stay on the outer edge for the next minute and a half. I guess it does give us some time to look at some highlights from this series so far. That nade in particular, obviously, Bob, the double kill coming in from Adam clutch on this round, but they've also had some great maneuvers on defense with the triple kill from Adam to clutch in the round prior. And obviously Cheeky Breachy, as we do hear some of the charm effects coming in, doing a great job of keeping this as close as they have. Map 1, Bob, delivering in this best of 3 by a large margin.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if this is how I was expecting this to go. I really had Sunset Ravens in my mind. Oh, BMO, I thought they might have blown themselves up with the grenade. But no, the last time I saw this again, it was 14-3 with Cheeky Breachy losing to Sunset Ravens, and here they are ahead 6-4, but Sunset Ravens catching back up. They've started to find their groove here against Cheeky Breachy. Once again, there's the Wilhelm scream here, but once again, we can attribute a lot of this to some great util. What did Adam find the double kill with? A fragmentation grenade. So, it really is indicative to how important utility is for these teams. And once Sunset Ravens can realize that, well, now they're starting to find that defensive success.
the series gets closer and closer to a 6-6 map 1 opener between Sunset Ravens and Cheeky Breaky. And if you are just tuning in, you've missed a whole series already. We did have a best of 3 conclude and already have eliminated our third team in this top 8 single elimination bracket. Niffen have their season ended, and Berserk are advancing on to challenge the winner of this series. And right now, who knows who that's going to be? Could be Cheeky Breachy taking a map 1 lead. Could be Sunset Ravens taking us to overtime for a chance at the map themselves. It's not looking good on the economy for Cheeky. If we do look at things from that perspective, and in comparison, I think that's 3 health syringes on the side of Sunset Ravens. So they're looking pretty good on utility and resources.
This is always kind of a tough spot to have your season end because, again, you're kind of in the middle of postseason. You're not quite in the money yet, and you know, for a lot of these teams, it can be disappointing to stop their stint in the postseason here. But you know what? You advance the next weekend. You still have another matchup before you're in the cash. That's the semifinals. So teams still have a long way to go. But right now, we're looking at Cheeky Breachy, and I bet what we're going to see here, Nightfire, is a full send down into Site B. Beamo's upstairs, Scottish is upstairs, Vreezer's upstairs, Jada there as well. Fuse bringing it up through the flank, and we're going to see there's a hatch in Site B that's going to take them directly down into the kitchen. Mac has an incendiary prepped, and we could see a melting pot here in just a second as Mike D10 does find Fuse. They now understand where the push is coming from, and here comes the full send. This could be not very good for... Oh, no! Emo found one, and they're down already as Scottish Rippers pushing in. They catch the kill on Adam. Jedi Maya bouncing back with the refrag, and it's down to Jado in a 1v2. Winnable, but they have that Kadia, so they're going to have to hit those headshots, and Desander, Jedi Milo, well equipped for this push. The EMP is in the hands of Jado as they slowly but surely, I thought maybe rotate over to A, but they are outside of kitchen right now. Maybe Jedi Milo and Desander are going to take an angle here as Jado looks to go through the static field emitter. It's a risky play, but it very well could catch Sunset Ravens off guard, as maybe now they're starting to get in their own heads. Did they go and rotate? And now there's the incendiary as Jada looks to get that EMP planted. Smoke tossed, and it routes Jada right in the crosshair. Jedi Milo, we're going to overtime.
Seems like they were trying to do too many things at a time there. I think they were trying to maybe go for the eco, take the Vezin out with them, and tuck back in, but then decided maybe to go for the EMP plant, so they pulled the EMP out, and then, nothing worked as they get pushed on the corner of that immolation nade, and a good effort, but yeah, we are into our first overtime of the day in our first map of this best of 3. Sunset Ravens are going to be taking the attacking side as we do swap on our scoreboard, and Cheeky will be on the defense for the last round of this map. The winner takes map 1.
And overtime, in case you aren't familiar with its format, both teams have been accumulating a total score up at the top of the in-game scoreboard. Currently, Cheeky Breachy with 11,000 points. And when you get that higher score, you get to vote on which side you want to play on for the overtime round. And at the start of this round, both teams, every player has $4,000 to work with. So you can buy as much as you want, utility-wise, gun-wise, and it all comes down to the execution. And Cheeky Breachy have opted to start on the defense. This is for all the marbles. The team that wins this is going to win the entire map. And currently, we see BMO all the way over in fire. They have a healing syringe on them, so they could drop this very, very early. There goes the wall open. Scottish finds one, and BMO catches one before going down. But again, they drop that healing syringe, which Desander dropped at the door as Vreezer moves in. Jado. Nice. Vreezer, both Scottish Ripper was down in the vent. Here's Fuse on the roam, and they might catch one, but it is a 2 versus 3. and Jado could get caught out here. Smoke toss, Mac finds the kill on Defuse. It's up to Jado in the 1 versus 3 clutch scenario, and it's time to see if Cheeky Breachy maybe should have practiced a little bit more. Another incendiary toss as Jado's thrown out again. That EMP getting planted. They're giving up a lot of audio here, and they may get pre-fired by Mac. Oh, they almost catch Jedi Milo, but no. Jedi Milo finds the kill to make it the 7-6 win, with Sunset Ravens getting their hard-fought victory over Cheeky Breachy.
Wow. They had to work for that one, Bob, to say the least. The underdogs nearly coming out with that map 1 victory, and Sunset Ravens ultimately locking in their first map, and now taking us to series map. As we do go into that second point, we will also obviously adjust our scoreboard here to represent the win. We will have 7 points on the side of Sunset Ravens and 5 on the side of Cheeky Breaky, just so that we at home can track who has won what maps. So at the end of the day, the overall scoreline doesn't matter. It just matters who wins the maps, but we'll know at home that it was a 7-6 win. It's just our scoreboard bugs out for overtime. We're still new. It's still new to us. We haven't used it. And it's new to these teams too, and so maybe that's something to think about, Bob. I want to talk about that with you, because it's new to suddenly get $4,000 and play around that something that you haven't really been doing all season long.
Yeah, it really rewards the team that puts in the better performance overall, because you get to pick which side that you're on. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win. It's a guaranteed win, because as you saw there, Cheeky Breachy had the higher score moving into the overtime round. They got to pick which side they were on, and they did not get the win in the end there. So very, very solid job to Sunset Ravens. But very quick shout out here. Scottish Ripper went 18-7 on that map. Absolutely insane. And a very, very solid performance from both teams, but we're going to go ahead and get ready for that second map. But yeah, moving back to overtime, really big adjustment for these teams, because they're used to that old format, maybe, going off of rounds instead when we get some sort of tie as such. But, this is really, and Nightfire and I talked about this earlier, it's changing the way, the momentum of games, right? Because before we would get that guaranteed third map, but now that we have that winner, it's usually likely for the winner to push up and win the second map too.
Yeah, we may be going into a brief timeout here, depending on what these teams are up to. Maybe some substitutes getting drawn in for the next round. But while we wait, a quick shout out to our sponsors. These teams, at the end of the day, to next weekend, will be competing for $1,000 to first place in the EU region. A nice chunk of change delivered to us by our sponsor, Triangle Factory, contributing into the VRML and enabling us to host Season 3 and do this again. Money into that prize pool, again, thanks to that sponsorship. And we can't shout out Triangle Factory enough. They enable us to have those in-game cosmetics. That Season 3 skin we've advertised and shown off. You can catch the video in this YouTube channel right here. Is fantastic, and all thanks to Triangle Factory. And obviously, we do appreciate all the support they give us across the spectating client and out of game too. They're a tremendous partner, and we really do love Triangle Factory as a sponsor. We also do appreciate ProTube VR, our longest standing sponsor. You can get the VRMLCon 2024 stock exclusively debuted at VRMLCon last year right now at ProTubeVR.com. And last but not least, of course, HyperX coming in as one of our core sponsors. You're hearing my voice on the Procast S. They're a fantastic hardware sponsor, and we can't shout them out enough. We also do have a merch drop with new Season 3 shirts live for both NA and EU. You can catch the Cheeky Breaky logo, believe it or not, which you can see beneath me down there, on the back of a shirt. It's crazy. It looks ridiculous, but it's great, and I do recommend you go pick it up. We'll link that in chat. But Bob, we're ready. I've stalled long enough, and we're going to an interesting spot for our second map of the afternoon. It's Dam.
Here we move into our second, and what could be the final map of this matchup, what could be the win that sends Sunset Ravens on to the rest of the postseason, on to the semifinals. But we're starting off on Dam and Cheeky Breachy taking that offensive half. Sunset Ravens starting on defense. Drone moving in already as we get started with the push here. Mike D10, you can see them on the flank, that drone moving in. And I don't believe it spotted Mike D10, who could get a pick on a BMO here. No, BMO was ready, but it doesn't matter. Mike found that kill first.
Oh, and then Scottish doesn't connect with the Taurus. There's the risk of taking that pistol, because when you don't hit your shots, someone at less than half health can end up winning against you. So a nice double from Mike. Cheeky Breaky down to 3.
I like that little play on words there. Desander. Oh, look at this. They might get a little aggressive here and find a kill on Fuse or Jado, but I think what's more likely is they're going to see the double swing, and it's going to be very punishing for them. They manage to escape. Mike D10 finds their next kill, their 3rd kill of this round, before getting refragged by Fuse. And Vreezer will take out Jedi Milo. And we're down to a 2 versus 3 with 1:10 left to go on the clock. Double trips set up on the wall outside of A in turbines. And, well, Fuse is going to look to rotate around. And I'm not sure what the play here is from Cheeky Breachy. They got a lot of utility. Maybe the better option is to just save it for the next round. But they could try a full send on site B. And I think Sunset Ravens, now that they realize there's no activity over by A, they're going to try and rotate for site B. There's the wall. It's been foamed as a bait. Vreezer might spot one here. They do catch Adam, even though they're very low on health, but they do not have Fuse behind them yet. There's the wall opened up. Fuse looking to get that EMP down and planted. Vreezer taking a very aggressive angle here, looking to blind fire through the smoke. Vreezer catches Desander, and this is a good start for Cheeky Breachy. They were down a couple of players, and it's up to Mac here to now win a 1v2 clutch scenario.
Chipped a little bit by Fuse as they cross that gap. EMP ticking down. They're going to try and bait it out. They need to. It's pistols. They find the first. Headshot connects. They go for it again. Those shots nearly miss from Vreezer, but do take down Mac, and Cheeky Breaky take a cheeky round. Up 1-0 they go on the pistol. 12 HP is all that's left on the battlefield, Bob. That was a close pistol round, to say the least.
I got to say, you know, I like the way that Cheeky Breachy plays here. A good switch up. They baited the other team with that foamed wall, and then good use of the smoke and incendiary. That's a tactic that's been around for a while. You throw the incendiary in the smoke, and you might know where the fire is, but it's kind of unpredictable. And you could actually see they caught one player from SR with that incendiary, and then, I mean, again, just beautiful gameplay from Vreezer there, and they got the EMP planted. They were able to find the kill. And very, very nice execution, especially when they were down a couple of players. But now they're investing into some omens. Fuse actually running the Taurus. They're trying to pull a Scottish Ripper here. We'll see if they can find some success with that. But ultimately, we'll see who takes that early momentum, or maybe it'll be another tie.
Could be another tiebreaker. We wouldn't hate it. We love the tiebreakers. They're a lot of fun. We love no ties, I'll tell you that. That's what we do really love. No more ties, thank goodness. We would have had how many ties? Could you imagine all the ties we would have had this postseason already?
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, Triangle Factory, for putting in tiebreakers. We needed it.
And there's the drone moving over into Museum. Doesn't find... Well, it does find some intel, but we did not see a kill found by Cheeky Breachy yet. Here comes the second drone moving in. They're taking a low angle, but it actually makes it a little bit easier to shoot the drone. You want to typically keep it high. Oh, there's Ripper on the flank! And they're shut down by Adam, but they're able to find a nice double kill. As once again, Sunset Ravens finds himself picked apart here a little bit. Vreezer's caught by Adam, who finds another important kill.
Oh,
Adam
my.
out of another They on their triple kill this round, and it's up to Jado and BMO to bounce back here a little bit. Jedi Milo goes down to BMO. Good control over the Omen recoil, by the way. Adam has put in a ton of performance this round. You can see they're shaking a little bit here. This means a lot to them, especially to Sunset Ravens. They've got that foot in the door for the win already, and they're going to need to bring it home here. But BMO was waiting on the angle, finds the kill on Adam. It's up to Mac, who has just a singular Jesper to fight against both Jado and BMO here, as Jado may look to get that EMP down and planted over in Site B, in which case Mac is going to have a very difficult time retaking.
Yeah, they're pretty far away. The ping has come down from the teammates to pick up the weapon on the ground, but I think Mac is so cautious of the rifle's, the killer's position, that they don't want to overextend. They hear EMP now behind them, so they spin. But again, it's only a pistol in their hand. I think the call out comes, go back, get some utility, find a weapon to use, which is the Omen, and then push your way in. Time ticks down, probably about 35 seconds left to work with here as Cheeky Breaky patiently wait for Mac to make their move. Those shots just missing over the top, and definitely not going to be ready for the double swing, I don't think. Nope.
And that's textbook gameplay there. When you have numbers, you swing with numbers. And that's exactly what Cheeky Breachy did. And we're seeing a good offense here. You know, on Ship, their offense was, I would argue, their weaker half. But now they're putting in a very decent performance here. They've got the rifles that they need. So does SR. They also have some rifles in their hands, and we'll see if they can pick up some utility here to go along with that. But ultimately, again, very solid push from Cheeky Breachy. They started off with that A push and then immediately shifted over to B to throw off that final defender, and played numbers perfectly there. Ultimately, very, very solid round.
We can't count Sunset Ravens out at any point, though, based off of their Map 1 performance, because they bounced back nicely under pressure. We'll see if they can do it again. As Cheeky Breaky, like you said, take that leaky and are going to now see if they can extend it up to 3. It's like I just want to. It's like just want to throw "icky" on the end of every word when you're talking about Cheeky.
Well, it is technically Cheeky Breachy.
I know, but that's
like
not
breachers. It's not as fun.
No.
In any case, here we go on round number 3. We'll see if this can be the Cheeky Breachy hat trick, as Desander out in red hallway, Fuse resource security. The drone has already moved in and scouted some area, but Fuse picked up quite a bit of damage. There's a frag toss, and it's going to catch a bit of damage onto Desander. And there's an audio cue that plays when you damage another player with the frag, so they have intel that there's somebody on the other end of the hallway. I don't know if they realize that there's 2 people out there, but Desander and Mike kind of stranded outside. Desander recovers the Vezin, but they're overwhelmed by Scottish. Fuse finds the kill onto Mac. Adam looks to push out, and a Fuse triple kill. Wow! And we're just seeing Cheeky Breachy storm through the defense here, but again, I'm not sure what Sunset Ravens are doing on their defense. It just does not seem like they understand how to play a good defensive round here.
Kind of feels in a little bit of a way they're struggling with the new meta on defense more than anything, right? Their kits are not as competitive. We talked about utility sometimes being vacant from their choices when they do push in here. Here we do see a static emitter, 2 static trip mines coming in, so they are investing into the SMGs and utility versus rifles and no utility, which I think is going to be the right choice here, but we'll see if it's enough. They also, they're going for double Vezin and Cadillo, so they're getting decent kits here, but still, it's, I think, a much better choice to be going for those utility options and trip mines versus stacking too heavily on your kits.
And it's really, I'm wondering who the IGL is here. I'm blanking off of who called that out in the interview, but Mike D10 finds a good opening pick on a Fuse. you know, you can have that gun skill, but I just feel like you don't want to rely on gun skill to win every single fight, because you can win off of pure gun skill. But just having utility and not using utility already makes it much harder to win here. Mac finds the kill onto BMO, as Sunset Ravens are able to find a good start here against Cheeky Breachy. And it is a reminder that, you know, utility isn't everything, but I still think that we're seeing a lot of plays that really shouldn't go to a certain outcome if SR had a bit more utility. Meanwhile, Scottish Ripper has infiltrated the defense. Binds 1, 2, looking to potentially make it a 3, as Sunset Ravens has to pivot and play multiple angles now. Scottish Ripper with that cloaking device. There's even, again, utility here that's concealing Scottish Ripper's location, making it a lot harder to see them. Frag toss, gonna route those two players a little bit. Jado infiltrating from the other side, looking to have a go at Site A here, and Scottish moving deeper and deeper into the site. Jado goes down. Scottish, however, finds another kill, making it a triple. And now Scottish Ripper's on for the ace. Can they take out Adam as well? They're the final hurdle to cross with less than a minute on the clock. It would be an insane clutch here by Scottish to keep them ahead in this matchup. If Adam can get the win here, it could shift momentum seriously in favor of Sunset Ravens. But Scottish has to make a move.
Yeah, Adams.
EMP is down.
Yeah, they know they have the EMP there on the ground, so Adams trying to tuck in. Scottish trying to play it quiet, but time is ticking. Trip mines are there, so they have to shoot him, give away their position. Adams going to swing on the corner and find the kill, and good plays. And Bob, we haven't never been more right, as the utility comes in as the MVP there. The audio cues from that trip mine allow Adam to swing that angle and find the kill. And Sunset Ravens take a crucial round win. The problem, of course, is that both teams are kind of down and out from that round because they've lost all of their investment in it. And so Sunset Ravens are actually worse off than Cheeky Breaky even after winning that fourth round.
Yeah, field a couple of rifles though, but yeah, they're force buying here. Cheeky Breachy again. They've had money in the bank from the previous 3 wins, so to speak. They weren't taking too many losses, and so that full team wipe, they can recover from that, but they probably don't want to take another big loss where all of their players die, because again, they invest a lot into their offensive pushes, buy a lot of util, and while it can be very helpful, we do have rounds like the last one where they weren't able to push in and effectively draw out all of the value. So, you know, I do eat my words sometimes here. You don't have to always rely on utility. But again, it significantly increases your ability. And like Nightfire said, it was the trip mines and the fact that Scottish had to shoot those that it gave off the audio cue to Adam to get that final kill against Scottish.
Here we go. Into round 5. 2 more rounds to go, and we swap sides and reset economies. And so Sunset Ravens, I'm sure, want to get at least 2 more points on the board to tie the half, and a nice opening kill coming in. 1 for 1, and Refuse picking up a second with that Marui. The headshots, definitely a powerful weapon to be connecting with the head.
Fuse refusing to die. There you go. As the drone moves in, Fuse catches another kill, this time on the Jedi Milo, looking to make it... Oh, they're shut down by Mike D10. They were looking to make it a potential ace. But BMO making their way through the hallway might find Mike here. Mike swinging out alone. This is very risky, but they do catch Jado, looking for the double onto Vreezer. Vreezer's almost refragged by Mac, but they're moving out into an unsafe angle. And they're going for it. They catch Vreezer, but they're still pushing. Maybe back off a little bit. Oh!
Wow.
And BMO catching Mac to make it a 4-1 game. And honestly, Mac, if you're in that scenario, maybe just back off a little bit. Look for a heal. There's... Oh, no!
Wow.
Oh, no.
They were grabbing all of the utility, getting ready for the eco. They needed to carry through. a bunch of items to maximize that round win, but they hit a trip mine on objective, and I mean, money into the pocket for Sunset Ravens, and if there's ever a time to do a little bit of extra damage to your opponent before you do swap sides, it's in death, as Sunset Ravens now, what do they have? 2 rifles, a Cadillo and a Vezin, and SMGs into the hands. Trip mines, though, and immolation nades are scooped up by SR, recognizing the importance there again in their defensive half, and maybe it'll be an impactful half for them. But I think we're looking at a 5-1 Cheeky Breaky again.
Yeah, Cheeky Breachy, a very, very dominant first half here. You know, they did get, one loss against SR due to that pure gun skill. But here comes the push in through security. I'm replaying that trip mine kill in my head. That was so funny. But Scottish Ripper outside it. And the important thing is that they at least won the round. And luckily for Cheeky Breachy, they, again, had money in the bank. So even though they can take the team loss there, the money that they got from the win and the kills that they secured was enough to reinvest into 5 more rifles. But still, you don't want to see them die here, because then they're going to be strapped for cash and won't be able to fully invest. BMO taking the red hallway. Mac currently in the middle there between... Oh, they're on the bend, and they find Vreezer, making it a 4 versus 5.
You can see Cheeky Breaky aware of the potential aggressive lanes that Sunset Ravens could take if they wanted to apply pressure, but ultimately they're playing pretty conservative. Sunset Ravens recognizing they really just need the second defensive point right now. They can't afford to allow Cheeky Breachy to have such a dominant lead, but maybe they can. I don't know. Sunset Ravens did come back really strong on ship.
They did, and they're going to have to come back pretty hard here as Fuse and Scottish Ripper pick up some damage, and we're going to see a full send onto Site B, I have a feeling. We're going to see some foam set up on the wall, and they're going to go... Oh, Jedi Milo catching Fuse. He just walked into the fire, and yeah, you can see, again, the incendiaries are kind of bugged right now, so the fire can be invisible for some players, and that's what happened to Fuse there. It wasn't actually just a user error. It was just kind of a game bug. Scottish Ripper finding the kill onto Mike. 2 versus 4. As the rest of SR are pushing in, looking to adapt to the other side, but Scottish is already in. That incendiary came in a little bit too late. They found one, catch the second, BMO with the third, and it's Jedi Milo to hold down the fort here for Sunset Ravens, and we'll see if they can manage to get that kill, but wait, 13 seconds left on the clock. Scottish Ripper catches Jedi Milo. And damn, defense is definitely not one of the stronger pushes here for SR.
Yeah, no kidding. 1 point on the board there for them as they swap sides and go on the attack on the pistol round. And they're going to do what they did on ship at a bit of a larger scale here with a big comeback in order. The pistol round opening would be nice, obviously, but at any point, if Cheeky Breaky take a point, they will push it to map point, which would extend us, if they did win, to a 3rd map to decide this series. And hey, I wouldn't hate it. You know, we love to see more action in this postseason, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. Sunset Ravens don't have essentially yet that pressure that Cheeky Breaky do in the terms of that they have to win. Cheeky Breaky can't lose or their season's over.
Yeah. That's a powerful motivator, to say the least. You don't, definitely more pressure on Cheeky Breachy, but they got to be feeling good, right? Because they've had us. Oh my goodness, that could have been a very devastating frag. I would say S tier lineup there. It almost caught 3 players. Actually, a lot of damage on the Mac, Mike, and Jedi Milo. And that's a good start for Cheeky Breachy's defense, because they're probably going to be riding some of that mental from a successful first half. That's going to make them feel even better about themselves. But it's all about Sunset Ravens, and if they can just lock in here and flip the switch, find good 5 rounds in the row to give themselves match point 6 to make it a full-on win against Cheeky Breachy. There's the wall opened up into site A. Incendiary is tossed in response, and here's where util is really, really important. SR has invested in some themselves. They've got that breaching foam, a frag, and a smoke, or excuse me, an instant, but Fuse catches Desander, and already we're seeing Sunset Ravens down a player.
Adam's going to push up, tries to catch Reezer on the corner, and runs into a lot more than just Reezer. As Mike plants the EMP in the smoke, they do not get it down, and Jedi Milo's alone. Cheeky Breachy looking to push this up to map point 6-1 with one more kill.
I wonder, maybe Cheeky Breachy are losing some of their steam here. It's been a pretty long and tough first map for them. It's been a pretty long and tough second map for them, and it's 6-1. No 5-1 curse happening here, and the door's open for Cheeky Breachy to just get that full-on win against Sunset Ravens here on this second map, and then we could go to a third. It'd be it'd be the first game this entire weekend that's gone to 3 maps.
And the last one for EU. Definitely a good way to go out on the EU side. A reminder, of course, that we do have NA starting in about 2 hours' time from now. Actually, exactly 2 hours' time from now. The pre-show will begin 1:30 p.m. PST, 4:30 Eastern. We'll be finishing off the North American top 8 with 2 more best of 3s, much like we did today. So do look forward to that. Those matchups, I can't remember what teams are playing. I think it's F3.
It's going to be F3. And it's going to be Aspect. That's number 1, 2 versus 7. And then it's going to be Acer versus Apex. So,
yeah,
a couple really solid matchups there.
Definitely some big ones to look forward to later today. But we're not there yet. We've still got maybe one more map left ahead of us if this defense can hold together for one more point.
Here comes the drone through security. Oh, has it spotted the trips? It has. I always get so nervous when I don't see the drone fully turned to look at the trips. And it makes me think, did they catch that or not? But they're clearing out some roamers right now. This is some routine drone work that we're seeing here from Sunset Ravens. And you do love to see that they're being thorough here about their pushes. But apart from that drone, they have a breaching foam and 1 heal. And so, again, we're not seeing any grenades or something coming out. They're just investing in SMGs. And we'll see if they can maybe catch Cheeky Breachy off guard. But they really do not want to lose this round because it's going to be a map in the hands of Cheeky Breachy. And they're going to be pretty happy with this conclusion if we end things here.
I do wonder if this is Cheeky's map pick, because they are away, I believe, in this series. So
could be.
I think Sunset Ravens will be able to pick that third map, and we'll see if that map pick is going to be deterministic of who's going to come out on top. But again, we're not done yet. Sunset Ravens set up on the outside. Nobody goes down except for Scottish Pipper, who's been the main shooter for Cheeky Breachy. Reezer swings out, catches a nice kill, cuts it down to 3 for Sunset Ravens.
It's up to Mac, Adam, and Desander. Yes, Scottish did go down. Again, 12 and 5, double digits. But Fuse is also in the double digits, and they are still alive. And that wall's opened up, and this is really where that smoke would come into play, where an instant or a frag to route some of the defense, but they don't have that here. All they have is breaching foam, and so the only way that they could really catch Cheeky Breachy off guard is if they adapt and go over to Site A instead, but there's a static in there, and they have to push in deep. Desander managing to catch one, but they're just stranded in the static, and it's up to Mac, who's also stranded in the static, and they're going to be playing in a 1v2, and there's Freezer with the refrag to make it a 7-1 game. And this, Breachers 101, is why you buy utility, because, I mean, they just could not resist the Cheeky Breachy defense there. It just played right into their hands.
And here we go. Our last map of EU goes down to a best-of-3 series decider. Cheeky Breachy making it hard every step of the way for the Sunset Ravens team. Map 1 didn't go the way they were hoping, and then Map 2 really just dominated by Cheeky Breachy. Big comeback kills, big clutches. Also, at the end of the day, the multi-kill from Scottish Ripper. They were stepping up big time in this series this afternoon on this map. Multiple double kills that we're seeing here on the replays from Scottish. Also in the pistol rounds on defense, Scottish doing some big work. And so those big kills are what net you a dominating performance like this against. It's just the Scottish Ripper highlight reel, basically, as we go through here on that map. Quite a few. But then obviously Ship going a little bit closer, a little bit more the way of Sunset Ravens. And so I wonder if maybe a substitute, as we do see Tonico coming in on the Sunset Ravens side, will be what they need to take this third map. And also, additionally, it being their map pick, Bob, I'm curious where you think we could be headed. And have they decided yet? No, they haven't. But once they do, and you know, curious what you think of that choice. So just moments away, and we do appreciate everyone stopping by, hanging out, and tuning in. But here we are, Bob. We're into it.
It is, yeah. It's the SR pick this time. I don't really know where we would be going. I'm not familiar with the bans, but we have played on Ship. We have played on Dam. Maybe we're going to stick with going to the OGs, or excuse me, the new maps, and maybe a map like Arctic we could play on. I wish we could see Maul, but not yet. Not yet. Maybe next season. I would love to see Maul. I've gotten the chance to play on it. It's just the newest map that Triangle Factory have added to Breachers, and wow, it is a lot of fun. And I think in a competitive perspective, it's going to be a ton of fun to play on there too. But it's big. It's big if you've ever been on there. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe Skyscraper. Okay. Skyscraper is actually a map. You know what? Maybe we won't go to Skyscraper because that's a map that Cheeky Breachy win a lot on. Okay. Good on Skyscraper. So maybe not there, but it actually is going to be a timeout called by the teams.
Okay. As expected in a moment like this, probably need to charge because they've been going at it for a little bit today. A 6-6 map 1 that ends up with Sunset Ravens taking a win, and then a dominating 7-1 map 2. We still got one more to go for the EU region, but we will take a quick break. Before we do, a quick shout out to our sponsors, Triangle Factory, ProTube VR, and HyperX for supporting the VRML. Last but not least, Exclaim and our new Top 8 Season 3 shirt, which was debuted yesterday, is live right now on the Exclaim store. If you go and pick up one of those shirts, you end up supporting the VRML, and we really do need your support. We do appreciate every dollar contributed into the VRML. It helps us do fun stuff and keep the lights on for the organization. So the support is crucial, and we do appreciate it. We're going to be doing a lot more with the merchandise in the coming season, so keep your eyes peeled on that store and the developments that we'll be having over the course of this year. It's an exciting time for the VRML. There's a lot more news that you'll be seeing coming out around VRML in the coming months, weeks. It's a lot to keep us going within the VRML, and so do just be sure to stick around. Follow us on social media. Follow VRML on social media. Subscribe to these channels, Breachers, Veil, all of our VRML channels, and you'll be seeing a lot more content from VRML this year. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it will be map number 3, so don't go anywhere. More EU action coming up. Welcome back, everybody. We are here and ready to get into our final map of the afternoon for the EU Top 8 single elimination bracket. And it's Arctic, where we will wrap things up. Bob, what do you think? How do Cheeky Breaky look against Sunset Ravens on Arctic over the regular season, at least?
Well, crucially, so okay, I'm speaking about the postseason. Actually, now that I think about it, but crucially, Cheeky Breachy actually, did win map 2 7-1. Sunset Ravens took that 10-minute timeout, which was probably the smarter thing to do. Kind of figure out where you're going wrong and work on a strategy. Charge up the headset, keep your battery in. But regular season, I believe SR more experienced here on Arctic than Cheeky Breachy is. I haven't seen Cheeky Breachy play on Arctic too often, so I don't know who has the, I guess, better gameplay here. But we'll find out soon enough as we start off our third and final map of actually the EU Top 8 entirely.
Yep.
Next weekend, we're going to be on those EU semifinals, and then that Sunday, we're going to have an EU champion. We're going to have an NA champion, too. Final Saturday, championship Sunday. But should be a lot of fun, but that's still a ways off. We still have Arctic to get through first, as Fuse has successfully spotted those trip mines. And good drone work once again from Cheeky Breachy. They're very utility heavy on this team, and I definitely do not have an issue with that at all, as Mike D10 catches a lot of damage onto BMO and Fuse through that wall into Red Hallway. This could be a nice start for SR.
Huge opener there. More than half HP down on 2 players, thanks to one. As a headshot there from Scottish Ripper connects. That's one way to bounce back on the overall HP bars. Mike goes down to half HP. Mac has bullets whizzing over the top of their head, but not connecting. Sunset Ravens into a 4v4 advantage. Sunset Ravens now. Mac catching Fuse. Big. Gets things back into order. And they're defending nicely over B as Inhalation nades smoke, and Vreezer pushes up for the plant. Scottish Ripper with the Taurus. Catches one. Looks for more. Finds Tonico, and there's only 3 left for Sunset Ravens as the EMP plant goes down.
Scottish Ripper finally meets their end at the hands of Mike D10, leaving Desander, Mike, and Mac to all push up on that EMP. And Jado, I have a feeling, is going to get overwhelmed here by a triple swing. But Vreezer may be able to provide support from the angles. The EMP is tapped by Desander. Here comes the swing from Jado. One goes down, but Desander throws some fake, and neither does Desander. They get the defuse in as they find the kill onto Vreezer and Jado. And SR looking good to start off here on their defensive half. I talk about it all the time. Pros don't fake. Stick the defuse. And Desander put so much pressure on Vreezer and Jado, and ultimately they had no choice but to swing in, and that led to both of their deaths.
Do apologize. Had the teams on the wrong side there, as Sunset Ravens are on the defense and Cheeky are on the attack. And yeah, a great hold down from the SR squad. And we saw a couple of fakes in the first map of the best of 3 that you were gone for, Bob. And if they hadn't faked it, they would have gotten the defuse. It's definitely the play you have to go for the stick. And they catch the round win because of it. Maybe not because of it, but good kills either way with the duo there on the corner. And we go to our SMG round. Although Sunset Ravens kind of taking a bit more of a conservative approach to it in terms of not investing all the way down on SMGs.
Yeah, they're sticking with 2. They got an Omen and a Viper, but some grenades. All right, maybe this is what they've identified in their timeout, is that they just need more utility. But look at the collapse here from Cheeky Breachy. The aggression, they're not relenting at all as flashes are prepared. Grenades tossed to both sides. Tonico with a double S-tier frag from Tonico. And that's a good start to this round. Fuse and BMO both going down. Scottish very low in the back with, oh my goodness, into the fire. And it was kind of invisible there. And again, just a bit of a bug that led to Scottish Ripper's downfall. But Very, very solid round from SR. See, this is why utility is so important, because Tonico completely shut down their push there with the frag grenade. And I'm almost like, you know, if you're Sunset Ravens, maybe you're kicking yourself like, hey, if we had just invested a bit more to utility last game, we might not have even had to play a third map. And here's the rifles coming out from Sunset Ravens. 3 of them, to be exact, with that Omen and Viper combination still up. They actually didn't lose anybody in the previous round. Desander still having that perfect game, 3-0. And Cheeky Breach are able to afford 1 rifle, but I think they're going to eco again to make it that rifle round. We'll see what kind of push they have in store as the sights are back up on that top floor. Freezer hanging outside of Green Hallway, but they're quite spread out, and that makes me a little bit concerned if SR are going to just stick together as a team here.
Yeah, it's... Well, I don't know. They definitely have momentum for the first time. I think all like I don't think they've had a 2-point lead, except for maybe very early on ship.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and here we go with the push into Cafeteria. Scottish, Fuse, BMO, all following into Cafeteria. And it looks like I'm actually wondering if maybe it's an A push. The thing is that if you're on defense, you're usually expecting the push to come from B. And then once you don't hear any audio for a while, you start to think, oh, maybe the push is going to the other side. And then you hear like the wall blow up, and then you start to get in your own head. But it looks like Desander, Mike understand where the push is coming from. The wall has been foamed from Cafeteria. Freezer waiting over in Gym. Sunset Ravens don't have anybody on the roam downstairs. They do have Adam out now moving outside of bathroom to apply some pressure, but Scottish is waiting there to keep them back in that site. There's some trip mines set up. Freezer's going to clear those out as Cheeky Breachy have a good setup here, but Scottish goes down to Mike. Adam now looks to push up to Sander, finds BMO, and that Incendiary just keeping Cheeky Breachy out. Desander finds Fuse. Now it's just down to 2 versus 5 with Freezer and Jado in a pretty tough spot.
Momentum's everything in the postseason, and Sunset Ravens are running away with it right now. 5 alive, no kills connected for Cheeky Breachy. These SMG investments going terribly awry for them here as Adam nearly goes down, does get scooped up by Jado, so they do get 1. I spoke too soon as they do start to push up and work their way up towards that B site into the hive, the bee's nest of 4 Sunset Ravens alive and well.
And Jado gets that EMP down. Freezer is stuck in the corner. They were never going to escape that. Desander finds that kill, and well, Jado is going to be a tough task to hold that EMP. Desander going to find that kill and make it a hat trick for Sunset Ravens. And well, different, very, very different pace than we saw from that previous map. I guess maybe Cheeky Breachy very comfortable on Dam. I believe that was their map pick.
Right.
And now we're back over in SR territory, and they really know what they need to do. And again, we're seeing the team invest in a ton of util, and it's really been working wonders there. They're keeping, I mean, even in the previous round, they stopped the entire push with that Incendiary. You know, this is why we invest in util. I keep saying this, but it's been you know, on Niffin, it was a big issue that they had on their defense. For Sunset Ravens, it was a huge issue that they had on their previous map. And so now I'm very, very happy to finally start seeing this team lock in and really start playing their defense much better.
It's definitely... Well, now their back's against the wall, right? So we're seeing Sunset Ravens stepping up with that pressure. And it's definitely... Oh, maybe they're having some comm issues. Desander seemingly can't be heard. As they are trying to do some hand gestures to each other there. That's definitely unfortunate. Maybe they'll be able to fix that with a quick reconnect in between rounds. But for now, they got to play through the technical difficulties. That's the nature of online environments. You got to play through the tech difficulties. As Mike catches a nice kill on the Scottish. A big kill for the main fragger on Cheeky Breaky.
And a good opening for SR, as once again they have first pick under their belt, and Desander has been spotted by that surveillance drone. It does go down, but ultimately SR not wounded at all as they begin preparing for this push. From Cheeky Breachy, Fuse coming around, foaming that wall. Here we go. It's about to open up, and we'll see if Jado can push in and get that EMP planted. Frag toss way in the back of site B, and I'm waiting for Jada to push up here. They have that incendiary prepped, ready and waiting. Oh no, Mike D10. They just tossed theirs a little bit too shallow, and there's one. Yeah, okay, Jado has one in preparation there. Toss in a good spot, preventing the swing, and Adam might get caught in that, but Jado goes down. It's now a 4 versus 2 as Vreezer can find one, but BMO way back in spawn. Did they? I think maybe they just rejoined or something, but Vreezer is
They were holding a
pretty
weird
tough
angle.
spot.
They were holding a really far angle. I don't know what it was going on there, but a little team kill there. Tonico on to Adam. Nice nade toss from Tonico, though. Dribbles right to BMO's feet, and it leaves Vreezer with 7 HP in a dream, trying to push through this smoke, and any bullet that grazes them will finish the job as Mac catches the kill. Sunset Ravens go up 4-0, and 2 away from taking the perfect half and putting the entire series and Cheeky Breachy's life on the line on the pistol round. That's not where you want to be, Bob. You don't want to be relying on your pistol round to keep you going for the rest of the season.
Here's the thing, though. I saw Desander, I think maybe, yeah, Desander's been disconnected. Adam, I think, has also been disconnected. Maybe some technical issues arriving over on Sunset Ravens as, yeah, there goes 1, 2, Sarah and Tristan. Definitely don't want to have bots take your place as you have all of this offensive momentum. And Cheeky Breachy are gearing up for, I think we're going to see a hatch drop here is likely the play is they've got 3 shotguns, Vreezer, Jado, and BMO. If you remember back to Ship, by the way, SR got their players back, they dropped down the hatch into kitchen and almost won that round. So maybe they're thinking if we have even more explosive momentum here and we just drop right into the site, we might be able to get some picks here. But thing is, will Sunset Ravens anticipate that? We'll find out soon enough.
Here comes the play. Round 5. Second to last round of the half. Then we reset economy, swap sides, and Cheeky get a chance at defense, which is maybe what they're hoping to lean on a little bit. Their economy is in shambles now, but like Bob said, maybe a surprise shotgun blast attempt will do them well, as they are trying to figure out which hatch they're going to go down on. This seems to be the one they're going to go for. I don't know if maybe they're having similar comm issues and have to use all the hand signals, but they're definitely very handy. As they do drop down, here comes the shotgun. Pushing into sight, the double barrels blasting a Scottish Ripper Fuse, and Scottish, and oh my goodness, Cheeky Breaky absolutely cut down Sunset Ravens.
Shout out to Martini, one of our other casters here at the VRML. He has a particular dislike for hatch drop plays, but they do work sometimes, and especially for Cheeky Breachy, they did a very good job there, particularly because they dropped down the hatch and you caught SR off guard. If the other team is expecting that hatch drop, it's never going to work. But if they are not anticipating that and you catch them by surprise, that leaves the door open. But you can see BMO pushed out. They had that EMP and they went down early. They caused some damage onto another Cheeky Breachy player, but crucially, the rest of the team went the other way and secured a back line. They didn't have anybody approaching from behind them. They cleared out their flank very early, and then they were able to take out Tonico, who was the only member alive from SR. So very, very good coordination there. They knew exactly how to play that. and ultimately it gave them that first round. They could go 4-2 into the second half. The door's open, but they do still have a pretty tough round ahead of them, because once you pull off a hatch play like that, not going to work again. The other team is going to be expecting something like that to happen, and we may see an A push here, which could catch SR off guard, but pretty interesting previous 2 rounds here.
Let's see what Cheeky's choice is on the push here, as they are slow into the entry, maybe feeling a little bit of an infusion of confidence off of that, win off of their surprise play. They try to come in quick, but find a door blocker to slow them down. Desander just around the corner, still hasn't sprung their trap. Scottish Ripper goes down quickly to Mac. There goes Fuse, and Vreezer alone in the corner. Catches one. Looks for more, because there's definitely is more. Mac and Adam alive and well, and that's Smoke. Interesting denial of vision to the top half, but not enough from Jado.
And Vreezer, Jado, the only 2 left here, as the EMP is still in possession of Cheeky Breachy. Vreezer finding Adam. But it is still that 2 versus 2. And Sunset Ravens now understand where the push is coming from. The question is, maybe at this point, if you're Cheeky Breachy, just go to Site B. I think that might be the better play. Just completely rotate over to Site B. Jada's certainly heading up towards the roof. I don't know if they're communicating with Vreezer here, but Vreezer may actually apply more pressure over from Site A and keep the 2 of them distracted. But I think maybe Jada just went up to get that breaching foam so they could come over here to Site A. And actually that might have convinced Sunset Ravens that they're switching up and they're going for Site B, and they're now anticipating a rush play from Site B. But actually, Cheeky Breachy were over on Site A all along. They open up the wall. They don't even push through it. Vreezer gets the blocker. Jada looking to plant that EMP. Tonico catches 1, kill the frag, routing the player long enough, but Jada pushes out, catches 1, and it's down to Mike D10, who finds Jado and makes it that 5-1 game. This could be curtains for Cheeky Breachy here. They just are 2 rounds away from exiting this postseason, but I gotta say, they were getting in the heads of SR, and I found that to be almost a very successful push from Cheeky Breachy.
Yeah, it almost was. They're putting together a hard fought effort here this afternoon, and the side swap could mean a lot. We've seen Sunset Ravens bounce back big time from that deficit on ship, and maybe Cheeky Breachy can do that with an opening pistol round win. The pistol round opener is going to be vital, though, and we've seen them do maybe the best on the pistol round. Scottish Ripper, if they can connect with those headshots on the Taurus, are going to do some big damage and work for this squad, or it has the capability of doing a lot of work for this squad in this pistol round.
The big reset here for Cheeky Breachy. This is their opportunity to start putting in some defensive rounds, maybe go all the way and 5-1 curse Sunset Ravens. It's certainly on the table, but Cheeky Breachy, apart from that 1 round, they did not have a successful first half. Fuse has been spotted. Jado picking up a lot of damage as Desander, very well-timed shots, catch Jado as they're retreating back into the safety of their site. And they're going to slowly move through here, clear out those static field emitters, and we could see SR collapse onto the site quite quickly.
Nice nade toss to the back line, half health, but a nice immolation to slow down the plant. Mike barrels through anyway. Puts down the EMP on the wall. They know BMO's in the corner, and they get chunked down through the smoke. An immolation actually the one that does it. And Sunset Ravens, with 5 alive on the pistol round, have the EMP planted.
How poetic would it be if SR did the exact same thing to Cheeky Breachy that they did to them on Damn? We could see 7-6, 7-1, and then 7-1 in favor of the other team as Desander finds Scottish Ripper. And it's up to Fuse, the last member of Cheeky Breachy standing. They've got to win a 1v5 clutch. They have to ace the whole team for starters, and then do that with enough time to defuse that EMP, and they catch one, catch two, look for three, catch three, look for four. Can it happen? Doesn't happen with at least enough time on the clock for the round to be a clutch, and they do go down. But Tonico actually took themselves out.
1 HP.
FF, and Mike D10 survives that round with 1 HP, but well, it was certainly a strange round, but SR walking away with that match point.
Yep, indeed they are, and they put it to series point. One more to go, and they've got themselves in a ticket to the semifinals to go up against our winner just a few rounds ago, Berserk. Their opponent next won't be an easy one. That's for sure, Bob. I mean, going into next weekend, they'll be going up against Berserk, and then whoever wins Acer versus Nexus, they'll be going up against them in the finals. So there is, a tall... It only gets harder from here for whoever ends up coming out on top this afternoon, but Sunset Ravens are close to doing that in our third map of the day.
It's been a really fun game for both teams. I mean, it's gone back and forth, especially in the first map. Went 7-6 in overtime to Sunset Ravens. Map 2, Cheeky Breachy with an explosive performance there on Dam, but this could be curtains for them here if they can't find... I mean, they have to win 5 rounds in a row to tie it up, and then they would need to win the overtime round, and it's just, it's very unlikely that it could happen. It is still possible. A Scottish Ripper with a very aggressive and risky play does drop Mike D10, but they will go down, and it is a 4v4 as we start the round.
Pretty nice move from Scottish Ripper. They've been stepping up big time in this postseason series. Basically every map, as they go 6 and 7, right alongside Fuse on the kill lead for their team. But it's still a 4-4, at least. They've managed to keep that even. And looking to breach in, Sunset Ravens taking it nice and easy. Not overextending, not getting in too aggressive. They're right on the cusp, Bob, but they're making sure they do their due diligence on their entries.
Yeah, you don't want to get into your head too early here and think that you're the winners, because, you know, if anything's for certain is that Cheeky Breachy can pull off something crazy when it's least expected. But they did find the second kill. BMO catching Adam through the wall. That's exactly what I mean. They could pull something like that. BMO still playing an aggressive angle, and they may swing into Mac here. Tonico could provide fire support. Mac finds the kill onto Vreezer, who now does not have somebody covering their swing. They look for the kill onto Mac, but they just swing at the wrong time. Go down to BMO. And it's up to Shadow, the last member of Cheeky Breachy, standing, and it does not happen. Mac finds that headshot, seals the fate of Cheeky Breachy, and Sunset Ravens are going to be moving on to the semifinals in what has been probably the strangest top 8 game we have seen in this entire weekend.
Definitely the most back and forth, and one that was super fun to tune into. A big shout out to everyone that hung out and stuck around for this third and final map today. But that's it. EU is done for the weekend, and we have our 4 teams playing in the semifinals next weekend. Acer EU versus Nexus at the start of Saturday, same time, same place, and Berserk versus Sunset Ravens duking it out in the semifinals next weekend, Saturday, grand finals Sunday. One of these teams is coming away with $1,000 in cash at first place. It is a lot on the line, and I'm excited to see them duke it out next weekend. A reminder to tune in then, and that we do have more today. NA starts in 1.5 hours time from now, where we'll be diving into exclusive North American interviews and watching the final 4 teams duke it out in the single elimination bracket for North America, where we will then have 4 finalists advancing to the semifinals next weekend for NA as well. So a lot of breachers left ahead of us, Bob, but any final thoughts on EU before we do close off for Sunday?
Just big shout out to all the teams that participated again in the interviews. They gave us their time, and big thanks to every team here for putting on a fantastic show coming up and bringing it 110% for every game. You know, we had just a number of really exciting matchups. It was a lot of fun to watch, and big thank you to everybody who watches these streams. We've had some of our best viewership ever for this round of the postseason for Challenger Cup, and so just massive thank you to everybody in the chat, you know, who likes the streams, who subscribes to VRML. And we still have another really fantastic weekend of postseason coming up.
Yep.
We got the rest of the day today. I'm really excited for what's next.
Yep. If you can, show your support for us by shouting us out to our sponsors, telling Triangle Factory how much you love VRML. They are a fantastic sponsor, and we do appreciate them in their support for the league across the board. It's fantastic. They really help us with the prize pool, and everything in-game is tremendous. So a big shout out to Triangle Factory, Pro2VR, and HyperX, all supporting the VRML. And last but not least, Exclaim. If you want to get the new Season 3 postseason jersey, you can get that right now for EU on exclaim.com/store/VRML. And the Exclaim shirt is up there. We'll link it in chat, of course, as well. But do go check that out if you can. Again, that's exclaim.com/store/VRML, where you can find that new Season 3 shirt exclusive for EU. That'll be it for us here on the desk, though. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster Gibular Bob. We will see you all for NA later today, but until then, stay classy. VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.